What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for another Good Morning Tottenham, and there's a lot to get through this morning. And the first headline we're going to be talking about is the dreaded news that we all could have expected to happen today is Harry Kane has not shown up to training this morning. He was due in this morning, back from his holiday from the Caribbean, back late for the Euro 2020. I mean, the other players have come back. Giovanni Lo Celso is back, who won Copa America. Højbjerg is back as well. But Harry Kane has not shown up to Tottenham training, and this has been confirmed by all the reliable sources. Ali Gold has confirmed it. Fabrizio Romano has confirmed it. Dan Kilpatrick has confirmed it. Charlie Eccleshare has confirmed it. Literally everyone is confirming it, and Matt Law, and they're all saying that he was due to come back today, and he hasn't shown up.
Yeah, it's a blow. It's something that we were hoping Kane wouldn't do. We were hoping that because of his respect for the club and, you know, being one of the leaders and just who he is, the person he is, we were hoping this wouldn't happen. However, I think when you look at it from objectively, you know, we all know he wants to leave. It's no surprise that he wants to leave. He's pushing for a move. I think when you go, if I would have told you back at the end of last season that Kane's going to start pushing for a move this summer, I don't think anyone would have been surprised. And I think at this stage, we all know that Kane is desperate to leave. He wants to start going to it. He wants to be at a club who's ambitious and can win trophies. We know Tottenham this season, whatever we do, even from now to the end of this window, whatever we do, we're not going to really be competing for the league. We've maybe gone outside gut shot top four if one of the top four clubs who are in there at the moment falls by the wayside. That's like we're relying on other clubs to fall back rather than us to close the gap ourselves. So you can and also we're in the Conference League. So even from a European standpoint, there's not really much glory there for him that he could win. So what is there to stay for right now? Not much. He can get more money elsewhere, more chance of trophies. So there is no surprise to me that he's pushing for a move, because I don't think he's going to get this move unless he pushes for it. But what I am going to say is, with Grealish going to Man City reportedly for 100 million, that looks like that deal's on the go. There is no club. I can't see a club spending 150 million on him. I can't see it. United have just spent 100 million, over 100 million on Sancho and Varane. Chelsea, I don't think we're ever going to sell to Chelsea. I reckon we'd rather. I don't think we're going to sell to Chelsea. I don't think that's a possibility. So Kane
it's between two clubs, in my opinion, the two Manchester clubs, really. Yeah.
So Kane might push for it. He might push for it, and he might demand to leave. But I really can't envisage a situation where Man City is stumping 150 million on top of the 100 million for Grealish. So he might not have a choice but to stay. So I think at the moment, as much as he wants it, it's not up to him right now. It's up to other clubs stumping up the money. So maybe there's an argument to say he wouldn't have done this unless he got an inkling from City that they are prepared to pay the money. And maybe there is something, a deal done. Who was it? Dan Kilpatrick was insinuating that Man City are prepared to pay 100 million plus a player for Harry Kane, and if that's a deal's on the table, then maybe that's something that Tottenham might find acceptable, depending on who the player is. But it's still very difficult for this deal to get done. Even if Kane can push right to the end of the window, it's still very difficult for this deal to get done. So, yes, it's a massive blow for Kane to be not in training today, and it's not what we expect from him, and I have to condemn it because it's not professional, but it doesn't mean he's 100% gone just yet, I don't think.
I agree with that, but Simon Stone from the BBC did come out, I think it was last night or this morning, and he said that from his understanding, Kane thought he had a gentleman's agreement with Daniel Levy to go this summer. Tottenham, all the noises coming out of Tottenham seeming like that's not the case, or that they're going back on that. But the way that Harry Kane, yes, look, everything you said is true, that, you know, Harry Kane, he deserves the move, probably. He deserves to fight for the biggest trophies in football right now. But at the end of the day, the way he's going about it, not turning up for training, is not the way to go about it. You know, this guy's a role model. He's England captain. He's the talisman of the team. He's the leader of the team without being the captain, without having an ER band. And in my opinion, you've got to come back first day and have a man-to-man chat with the owner. You don't just not show up, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't think it's right. Well, look, there were reports previously that he wasn't going to show up, and I was hoping that they weren't true, but it seems like that is the case. So, everyone was expecting that he was going to have these showdown talks or whatever with Levy and Nuno and Paratici to see where we're going, where the situation's heading. But for him not to show up is a big blow. It is a big blow. It means he's going to try his hardest to move, which is hard to take, obviously, because we love Kane so much and what an amazing player he is, and what we don't. Obviously, I'm desperate for him not to leave this club, having not won anything, given what he's done for us. But on the other hand, I can understand it. You know, a player's career is not long. It's, you know, obviously he's got many years left of him because of who he is, but. He's now 2 years. He's now 28 years old. Spurs have been 2 years in the wilderness doing nothing. Even in those 2 years, he's still pretty much kept up his standards. So he can't blame himself. He has to blame the people around him. And I don't think it's a case where he wants to leave Spurs. Obviously, he wants to leave, but I think it's a case where he feels like he needs to leave Spurs.
Yeah, no, that's the facts of the matter. It is the facts.
And that's just, and I can't disagree with him. As much as I want to, as much as I want to say, oh, he has to stay. Look where we are. I can't. There's nothing in my mind that I could say that would convince Kane to stay, because there's no reason to stay.
Yeah, but there's ways of going about it.
Yeah, but I understand that. But the brutal reality is, if he doesn't fall through the move, it's unlikely to happen. That's the brutal reality.
I think
as much as we want to say it.
I think even with what he's doing right now, I still think Daniel Levy won't accept any less than what he was going to accept beforehand.
Agreed.
So I don't think it makes too much of a difference.
But I agree. Look, but that's not how players think. That's not how agents think. They think they have to do their part to try and force a move, and then they can never. And then at the end of the summer, even if he doesn't get the move, Kane won't turn around and think, if I would have pushed harder, maybe I could have got it. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that he might even. I think if he stays at the end of this window, I don't think he'll be sulking and he's going to be downing tools. I don't think he's that kind of guy. But I do think he's going to push very, very hard now. I think it's clear he's going to push very, very hard to try his hardest to get this move. But I don't think he'll be sulking if he does stay.
Do you not think once he's taken this step to not show up to training, it's a very slippery slope?
Yeah, but I remember, what was it? Modric did the same, and then he stayed that one season. He was great. So
I mean, but that's like the only case that we can think of. Everyone else ended up leaving.
Yeah. But this is a different case, isn't it? Like the amount of money we're talking about for him, I think it's difficult for a team to stump up that kind of money. So I think even in this situation, given everything, I still think it's quite likely he's going to stay. I think at the moment, how things are going, it's probably likely he's not going to start the season in the team. It seems like that way to me. I think Man City, you can pretty much rule him out of that one at this point, unless something dramatic happens in the next week and Man City completely rule themselves out or something. It seems as though he is going to try his hardest to push that move. This is going to
rumble on right till the end.
It will. And I just think that Harry Kane sees this as an opportunity to try and leave, and I don't think he wants another season to pass him by. So he's going to try his utmost to leave. It doesn't mean though that he definitely will leave. It just means he's going to try. And I don't blame. Honestly, people will say he's a snake and things like that. I can understand that. I'm not happy with him with the fact that he's doing what he's doing. I'm not happy about it, but I can understand it. And I think, for all he's given to this club, and the professionalism to the highest standard throughout his whole career at Tottenham, we haven't matched him. That's the case. We've let him down more than he's let us down, just because of this action today that he's done, which has definitely let us down. Throughout his time in the club, we've let him down more, I feel. So I don't blame him for trying to force the move. I don't blame him, but I'm upset, but I don't blame him for it.
I mean, the way Kane and his camp are looking at this is like they know Daniel Levy won't accept less than whatever the asking price is, 150 million, let's say, for argument's sake, the price is. And what's he thinking by doing this? He's thinking that if he tries and does this, maybe they'll accept a bit less, something that Man City are going to offer, because he probably knows that they're not going to go as high as what Daniel Levy wants.
Yeah, I just think he thinks he's got to try. if he really wants to move. I think he sees this two situations. I think he sees that if he doesn't do this, trying to force a move, then the deal is not going to happen 100%. At least if he tries and forces it still might not happen, but at least there's a chance it will happen. At least there's more of a chance he'll get the move. So that's why I think he's doing it. I think he'd rather gamble and even upset a few people, but try his hardest to get the move, rather than just be a good model professional and be a good boy like he's been like for the past 7-8 years at Tottenham, and then pretty much ruin his chances of moving at all. Because if he doesn't push for it, Levy obviously is going to go as high as possible, and he's pretty much guaranteed to stay, because there's no incentive with 3 years left on his deal for Levy to budge at all on his asking price. At least if he agitates a bit and gives the impression, even if he isn't going to down tools, but gives the impression he is going to down tools, it'll maybe he's thinking it could make Levy think twice about it. I still don't think it will, but I think that at least he might put some doubt in Levy's mind. That's what he's hoping to do, and then maybe lower the price a bit. That's why I think Kane's head is at, or Charlie Kane's head is at the moment. So that's how I feel the situation
Charlie
is.
Kane's eyes are just lighting up in dollar signs right now. That's for sure. But look, at the end of the day, it's a sad day. It's a sad day, and look you can 100% see both sides of the story. And the way I see this playing out, is I don't think Daniel Levy will grant Harry Kane his wishes to leave for 100 million plus a player. I think he wants the full whack of what he wants. Otherwise, he's not leaving. He knows he can keep Harry Kane at Tottenham for another year, and he'll get that same 100 million bid probably next summer.
Yeah, he'll obviously lose a bit, that bit extra because of the extra year. But he'll get, I think next year, even if it's not maybe not 100, but it could be between 80 and 100. You know what I mean? So there's still a hefty fee that we could get next summer. So I think Levy at the moment, I think he's calm about the situation. He knows that he's got the cards in his court right now, pretty much. I think he knows that at the moment we've got the better hand. Even if Kane is pushing for a move, Spurs have with the 3-year deals, and with Grealish probably going to Man City, Spurs pretty much hold all the cards in this deal. So I think, as much as Kane might be stubborn and pushing for a move hard, there's only one person who's the most stubborn, and that's Daniel Levy. So I don't think he's gonna budge. It's really unlikely Levy will budge.
As Romano said, who's the most difficult chairman to deal with in Europe? That's Daniel Levy, and we've got quite a few super chats to get through. I think I missed the first one. It's kind of vanished off my screen. But the next one was from, I can't even see the name because there's too much blocking here. But it says, it's worrying that City haven't signed Jack Grealish yet. And do you think that that could break down and they could put all their eggs in the Kane basket?
This is from Essa Al-Shamari. I'm hoping that's not the case. But there's always a possibility if maybe they might prefer Kane to Grealish, and if they see an inkling for Kane, and they might think, because I think at the moment, if you look at City's team, who's more in need, Kane or Grealish? It's obviously Kane, isn't it? Aguero leaving, Jesus hasn't really stepped up massively.
Yeah, massively.
So I mean, obviously Kane is the one where you're thinking they definitely want, and they definitely need in their team. He's the missing piece of the puzzle.
Their manager, their chairman, and everyone, all the noises coming out their club. Their talisman in Sergio Aguero has left over the summer, and they're in desperate need for a striker. It's been widely reported from their manager and their chairman that they're going to bring in a big striker this summer. Yeah.
So that's what the chairman said. He said Aguero was an absolute legend, and he's going to be he's going to be very difficult to replace this summer. However, he is confident they can find the right person to replace him. And when you think about who's really of the caliber that can replace someone like Aguero, there's not many players other than Kane, maybe like Haaland, who I don't think they're going to go for this summer, who can replace him. So it's obviously it makes sense, the whole deal, but again, it's a lot of moving parts still to happen. So I don't, just because he hasn't shown up for training, all this stuff it's a blow, but doesn't mean it's a done deal or anything for sure.
Do you want to just get through those other super chats?
1 sec, yeah.
The next one was from Bob Spur.
Yeah. Also, there's one, I can't see the name, but the one you missed earlier says, at the end of the day, he signed a contract. He wasn't forced to sign it. I'm shocked he hasn't shown up to training. It's disrespectful, especially to Nuno. It's a bit disrespectful to Nuno, seeing as he hasn't had a training session with him at all. So that's a massive shame that he hasn't even given Nuno the courtesy of having a conversation with him. But again, look, all these issues, they predate Nuno, and he's dealing with Tottenham Hotspur, not a specific manager, and I can understand why he's doing what he's doing. I really can, as much as it's painful, and I don't want him to be doing that. I can understand it.
We've got one from Sasko Aliou saying, there's no loyalty in the game from players and clubs. Good on him. He needs to look after himself first. I mean, he's shown loyalty. He has shown loyalty over the past couple of years, Harry Kane. And I think, look, it is what it is with Harry Kane. This is no secret to anyone. I mean, this is no secret. Even 5 years ago, he was saying if this club is not moving in the direction, he will look to leave.
Yeah, he said that. Look, what was it? 5 years ago, he said in 3 years, if I haven't won a trophy, then I'll have to look.
He's
at
given
things.
us 2 extra years.
And he's given exactly, and he's still
probably in the 2 worst years.
So I can't blame him. Yeah, let's read the one from Bob, so I never read it. It says, guys, do we need some form of statement from Kane or from the club or Kane? We are in a rebuild. Surely clarity is needed. My heart goes out to Nuno. Big up, legends. Look, as much as it's disrespectful to Nuno, and he hasn't had a conversation with Nuno since he's come in, we've got a new manager, just because Nuno comes in doesn't mean he owes the club anything. Because Nuno's just come in. He's been at this club for 7-8 years. He knows how things are done. He knows how it's run. And unfortunately, it's not Nuno's fault, but that's just the sad reality that he's coming at this point. But these problems predate him. And just because we can't just, every time we're in a rebuild and Kane wants to leave, sack a manager, say, he has to give this manager time. It doesn't work like that, unfortunately. He doesn't need to give he doesn't owe Nuno anything just because Nuno's just come in. That's the reality. So do we need a statement? There's nothing we can't have a statement. What are we going to say? There's nothing to say right now. City need to put the bid in.
But even if you do bring out a statement and say Kane's leaving or something, that just puts us in a bad place in the market, and people know that they can overcharge us for stuff.
Yeah,
for players. So I don't think a statement is needed. To be honest, I really don't. Scorpion fan for life saying Nuno can convince Bernardo to join 100 million plus Bernardo. Would you take that?
100 million plus Bernardo. I mean, that's not the worst deal in the world, but I would. I mean, look, if you told me that was going to be the deal at the end of the day, I wouldn't not going to turn around and say that's like a terrible deal. But I think maybe we're better off taking the cash. As much as I like Bernardo Silva, I think he's a class player.
Yeah.
I don't know. Something tells me I'd rather the cash and do it instead of a player very high wages who maybe isn't the most necessary player.
Jimmy Jones, welcome to the family. Welcome to Silva, my friend. Big up yourself. We're just going to get through these super chats and then move on to the next story. Just give me one.
Scorpions for life. Oh, yes, you said that. Then Brian Daigle says, Kane is not a stake. He's been lied to year after year. Then Romero saga happens. Things will never change while the parasite is in charge. NFL protests can't come soon enough. Levy out. Yeah, I mean, I think it's right in terms of, as I've said before, we've let down Kane more than he's let us down. I think over the past few years, and that's the reality. So, if Kane feels the need to push the move, I mean, I don't blame him. I really don't blame him.
I still stand by that. You need to go in. You need to show up on your first day, especially with the kind of stature around Harry Kane. You need to show up. Come back to training and have a man-to-man chat with the hierarchy, and don't take shit from Daniel Levy, don't take shit from Paris, don't take shit from the hierarchy at Tottenham. You know what I mean? If you really believe that you want to leave and you want to go right now, then come in, have a man-to-man chat with Daniel Levy, and don't take his shit. You know what I mean? What's not turning up to training going to do?
He's trying to make a statement to the media, probably. That this is real. He really wants out. It's not just something that he kind of wants. He really wants it, and he wants it now. He doesn't want to wait, and that's maybe the message he's sending. And it's painful. It's painful for all of us. And I understand people, the knee-jerk reaction is like, oh, he's a snake, and oh, how dare he? And I understand that. When I first see that, that's my visceral reaction to that. But when you think about it, really, it's understandable.
It is understandable, but you just can't help not feeling let down.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because, this is a guy that we've shown so much love to over the past however many years it's been. Like I said, our leader on the pitch, England captain. This guy is like widely revered as like the model professional in the game right now. And he's not showing up to training. It's a letdown. There's no two ways about it. I understand he wants to leave, and I understand that he deserves to leave. But I think you've got to go about it in a certain way.
I think when in a perfect world, that's the reality. That's what we would want. But this isn't the perfect world, is it? This is reality. And I think I remember reading an article from The Athletic about there was talking to a few agents, and they were talking about how transfers work and stuff. And they said, and then they were saying how a lot of the times when these players they try and force through the moves and they don't turn up to training or do all this stuff. People might think it's disrespectful and everything, but there's no they agents and stuff. They don't see it as any other way, but how to do it. Otherwise, he's not going to get the move.
But look at Christian Romero. Look at Christian Romero. He's dying to come to Tottenham. He turned up to Atalanta training yesterday like a man. Widely reported he's going to speak to Gasperini. He's going to speak to the Atalanta CEO to try and get his move, to try and negotiate his wishes to them. And that's what Harry Kane should have been doing.
Maybe he's already done that and they're not having it. Look, we've seen throughout this whole throughout the whole summer that Tottenham have maintained we aren't selling Harry Kane, right? We believe he's continually maintained that.
Yeah.
We're not selling Kane. He's not for sale.
Yeah.
Apparently, even today, Levy, I'm not sure who it was. I just read a report saying Levy is still maintaining Kane is not for sale. So obviously, I think they've had those conversations, and Kane really wants to push for it. And that's it.
It's hard to take.
It's hard. I'm gutted by it. I'm absolutely gutted by how he's acting. I am, but for me, I think I can understand what he's trying to do. I can understand the maneuverings, and people will see it as it is disrespectful. It is disrespectful what he's doing. But sometimes to really get what you want, you have to be disrespectful, and that's how he sees it. I think at the moment, and. He's done his bit for us. He's done as much as he could. I don't think Kane can do any more than he's done really in a Spurs shirt. What more can he do? And if we're not going to be ambitious, and we're going to still be having these step backwards, and even right now, we're haggling a few million. We're 2 weeks away from the season. We're nowhere near ready. Why he would rather join a serious club who gets ready early and actually plans seriously and actually is planning to. Challenge for titles and cups, and they take their transfer business seriously instead of going all the way to the end of the window, haggling over every single penny, and then foregoing the first few games, and then always lagging behind and always playing catch up. I mean, he's sick of it. I'm sure he's sick of it, and he wants out.
Of course he is. And nobody could doubt that. Nobody can doubt what he deserves. Nobody can doubt what he wants. But like I keep saying, it's just a way you go about it. Sonny Leone with a super chat saying, "Boys, I got a nightmare last night. Kane unveiled as an Arsenal player. He's saying finally going back to his boyhood club. I mean,
don't worry about that.
Yeah, that's the last place he would be going. I mean, that's probably one of the places that's worse off than Tottenham right now.
Definitely,
there are quite a lot here.
Yeah, Padu Fitness says, "I'm an Arsenal fan. What was it? I'm an Arsenal fan, but no banter here. He must stay. He's a real treat to watch with Son. And yes, trophies is a must, but a season with Nuno, who knows? Then with the emoji, who knows? Look, in a perfect world, I'd love him to stay. And I still think, look, even with all of this, I do still think he's more likely to stay than not at this point, even if he is pushing for it. And I still think if he does stay, he'll take this season seriously and he'll try his best. I really believe that. I don't think Kane is one to go into a season, even if he's unsettled and stuff. But I'm sure he's so single-minded in how he is. He's going to knuckle down and he'll be as, I'm sure if he stays, he'll be at his best. I just think he's going to try his best before the window shuts to leave. That's what I think the situation is.
More super chats coming in. Jason Wales saying should have got Conte in. Kane would have stayed for sure. Enix fault again. again. That said, needs to be stuck in the reserves.
No, we can't have Kane stuck in the reserves. That's the no-go. That's impossible. Vlad Churkanu says Romero reportedly went to training with Atalanta. It's true. It is true. However, he's only been at Atalanta for a year. Kane's been at us for 8 years now in the first team, is it? 7, 8 years? It's a bit of a different situation.
It is. Christopher Scorpion Nyland says Vlahovic and Calvert-Lewin in to replace Kane. Would you take those two?
Probably, to be honest. I think I don't think even both of them together are as good as Kane. But I mean, if you're thinking about our potential options, we could do a lot worse than Vlahovic and Calvert-Lewin. We could do a lot worse.
Luke Diamond says, get fed up of hearing, Kane is given X amount of years to the club. Bollocks. He hasn't given anything. He's been given millions of pounds over his career to play a game we all dream we could play.
Well, yeah. I don't understand. Players have careers. They get paid to play, but he's been at the top of his game for a number of years, and it's not his fault that we haven't won anything. People say, he should turn up for finals and blah, 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 all this kind of stuff. Apparently there's an audio sync issue, Frank. I don't know if you can sort that. What's it called? He's given a lot of his years to the club. And the truth is, if he was a different player, look at Kyle Walker. He gave a few years and then he forced to move to Man City early. Kane didn't do that. He didn't force it a few years ago. He could have done that. A different player, Gareth Bale, he forced a move out after about 4 years. He forced to move out. Kane never did that. But at some point, it gets to a point where enough is enough.
The club was in a different space, though. I mean, Kyle Walker actually pushed when we were at our pomp. I
know, but I'm saying, it does get to a point where enough is enough.
Mm-hmm.
And, when is the point? What, 10 years? Could it be... If Kane stays in 4 years' time, we're still nowhere, and then he starts pushing him over, people are still going to say,
people are always going to say, because when people get hurt, this is what they turn to.
People are never going to accept that. If you're going to continue on this path, like Spurs are continuing, players like Kane who are really ambitious, it's going to get to a point where enough is enough.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm surprised it hasn't come sooner, but it's got to this point now. Okay, and we're at this point, and it's no surprise.
Jack Ouzel says, bottled countless semis and finals and always injured.
Yeah, because it's always Kane's fault that we don't win the semis. I hate that narrative. Such rubbish.
Daniel Hammett says, is there a danger if this goes on over the next few seasons of Kane becoming a Pogba-Ozil situation for Tottenham and drags the dressing room down? I completely disagree. I mean,
don't think so. Yeah, I don't think it's
Harry Kane. If he doesn't go this summer, he's definitely going next summer.
Yeah,
that's the fact.
I don't think there's any fear of him leaving. We're not going to let him Harry Kane go on free. It ain't going to happen. So,
no.
I think now is the only thing I'd say about Kane's potential move is, the only thing I'd say about it is it might have come in terms for Harry Kane himself 1 year too early in terms of really having that leverage to really try and get the move. At the moment, it seems to me as if he doesn't have enough cards in his favour to really get that move this summer. The 3-year contract, City spending big money elsewhere and stuff like that. I feel like this summer, as much as you might want it, I think it might come a year too soon. Next summer, he's going to have a lot more leverage. So I think at the moment, I don't think it's in danger of coming a Pogba-Ozil situation just yet, because they've got less years on their contract and stuff like that.
Completely agree. Ben Kaufman says, if City want Harry, pay the money, 150 million plus bonuses for winning trophies. 100 million no players is an insulting bid. And I agree with that. And that's exactly the way I believe he's going to be looking at it.
Yeah. That's why I think. That's why I think it's unlikely he gets the move this summer. I think it's going to be very difficult for him to get it, because I think we can demand that amount of money. They can't really have any. There's nothing they can really do about it because of the 3-year deal. So I think, unfortunately, doesn't have enough cards in his hand. The cards aren't great for him right now.
All right, let's move on from the Kane situation at the moment.
No, yeah.
Oh no.
I think we should keep talking about
let's keep talking about Kane then. I mean, at the end of the day, what else is there to say? I mean, everyone knows the facts of the matter completely right now. The facts of the matter are Kane wants to leave. Kane hasn't shown up for training today. Over the whole summer, the news coming out of Tottenham has been that he will not be going anywhere. So it's a battle of power at the moment at the top of Tottenham with Harry Kane and the hierarchy of Tottenham. He wants that move to Man City. Are Man City going to come and stump up what Daniel Levy wants? It remains. I can't see it happening, especially with this whole Jack Grealish for 100 million, to be honest. But at the end of the day, we're just going to have to wait and see how this one plays out, aren't we?
Yeah, and the Telegraph says Harry Kane has stayed away from Tottenham training whilst he finds out whether Spurs will agree to sell him or not. Kane is making it clear that he's ready to play hardball over his intention to do everything in his power to leave the club. So yeah, that's pretty much how I see things at the moment. He's desperate to leave. He's going to push as hard as possible to leave, but it's still up to Spurs. And I think if he does stay, then I'm sure he'll knuckle down during the season. But it's still a lot of moving parts, so it's not a done deal or be all and end all. I just think it's in for a bit of a messy few weeks. Unfortunately, that's going to be the case. But spending big money though, they spent big money on Leon Bailey already.
We're spending 50 million on a centre back.
Yeah, true. But with the transfers we're getting out, I think hopefully we can afford that.
Not with the proposed transfers for the rest of the window. I mean, we're talking about 2 centre backs, a right back, potentially a centre mid, a striker. I mean, all of that money. I was saying that all of that money cannot be covered by the sales that we're making without Kane.
Yeah, probably if we have to sell to buy. Alex Crook from TalkSport, he's not the most reliable. He says Tottenham are refusing to comment on stories regarding Harry Kane, which is not a great sign. Usually Spurs when these things happen, come out and say he's not for sale. That's it. Harry Kane's not for sale, but we're refusing to comment. So maybe we're just letting the dust settle a bit before making any sort of statements.
Another super chat here from Luke Diamond, who says, by my comment, I mean a club doesn't owe a player owes the club, paying him millions and the fans, not the other way around. Look, there's 2 ways you can look at it. There's either that obviously Kane owes Tottenham massively for all the work they've put into him and bringing him up and making him the player he is today. But then there's a case of saying, like, how many more years service can Harry Kane give Tottenham for going in the wrong direction?
Yeah, look, there is a breaking point. There's always a breaking point. You know, I think if we were improving and we were getting better and we were moving in the right direction, and we were seriously challenging to win things, then I think he would have stayed. I think Kane loves Tottenham. I really do. I think he wants to be at Tottenham, but unfortunately, Tottenham can't match his ambitions, and that's the reality. And now we've hit a breaking point.
Clinton Mouton says, sorry guys, hate to be mean, but Kane's first trophy would be leaving Spurs. Tin Man 007 saying, only one person to blame for all this, and it's Levy again. Eventually, any top player who has ambition will leave our club just like the others did. And it's hard to disagree with that, isn't it?
Yeah. Unfortunately it is. And that's just the reality, unfortunately, where we are at the moment.
And Brian Daigle saying, Grealish is back at training because he hasn't been lied to year after year, and the owners invest. When you look at us, then you look at us.
And there's a report from Alistair Gold. He says, there is a belief within Tottenham that should Harry Kane's stance intensify, then it will only strengthen the club's resolve and damage any slim chance of the player getting his move to Manchester. So I guess Alistair Gold has sources in the club. We know that, and they're saying that the more he pushes, the less likely he's going to get his move. Whereas Kane's agent is probably but I guess they would say that, wouldn't they? Because they want to put that message out, and they want Kane to kick up a fuss.
Yeah.
But then obviously Kane's agent of the belief that the more he pushes, the more likely. So maybe there's a difference of opinion and of how they see this transfer potentially happening, but it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out.
I think it's time to move on to some good news now, because it's been a hard morning so far. But right now we've got 2,180 people watching with us, only 279 likes. So everyone scroll down, smash that like button and smash that subscribe button. It's absolutely free and really does help us out with the algorithms. So just scroll down and smash those 2 buttons, and we really appreciate it. But let's move on. Alistair Gold has brought us a story this morning. A few other publications have also brought it to us. And Alistair Gold, let's start off with him. He says, at least some good news this morning as the move for Christian Romero is finally edging towards completion in what is going to cost Spurs around 50 million euros. So it looks that finally, Christian Romero could be getting over the line.
Yeah, and I think this one, we thought that the deal, there's going to be some information coming out today. Over the weekend, there was a lot of movement, wasn't there? We heard there was a crazy night. What was it? Friday night or Saturday night? Friday night, where at 10:30 we get an update that Spurs have upped their bid and it's going to be accepted and it's all going to happen and like they match Atlanta did, and then literally an hour later we get an update saying deal's completely fallen flat, meetings have ended badly. Is like
tension. It'll say there's a big tension at the meeting.
DiMarzio even saying that the deal could permanently be off. I'm like, what? An hour ago you were saying that we matched their bid. What's happened? And then there's been a bit of I think yesterday there were reports that Romero was going to come into Atlanta training and tell Gasperini he wants out and he wants to join Tottenham and he's going to try and force through the move. That's reports there that was saying. And then today now, two reliable sources, one from Dan Kilpatrick and now Alistair Gold about within the last hour have been reporting this deal is now edging closer and Tottenham look to be getting their man. £43 million, I think, plus add-ons. I think it's a good deal. I'm hoping we can get this done sooner rather than later. There are reports that Nuno really wants him in for the Man City game, and we're definitely going to need him for that game, that's for sure. So very positive in that aspect. I'm hoping that we can get this deal done as soon as possible, and that's very, very positive that at least there's some positive news. And it's classic Tottenham, isn't it? When there's negative news, they try and do something from a PR standpoint.
Is
it every time, right? To try and get people back on side. Time. So I think they've definitely started to put out this story now probably because of this Kane news. That they we've got to tell them we're getting close to the Romero deal. But look, if we can hopefully we can get this over the line, and it's better late than never, which is true. I mean, I think this deal should have been done a couple of weeks ago, but it's better late than never, and I'm very, very excited about Romero joining Tottenham.
And it was, I don't know if you saw it, but Fabrizio Romano did an update video on Romero and Tottenham yesterday, I think it was. And the way he was talking about Christian Romero made me even more excited to get this guy through the door. He was saying that this guy is one of the leading emerging centre-backs in Europe. He's one of the top centre-backs in Europe as it stands. I mean, it's a real, it's a statement signing, I think, bringing in Romero. But as well, it's not a statement if we don't bring another centre-back with him. It's not a statement if we don't kind of build the squad, the right-back situation, the striker situation with Harry Kane now. We can't just bring in Romero and rest on our laurels.
No, of course not.
Romero should only be the start.
Correct.
You know what I mean? It means nothing if we don't bring in other players to complement him.
Correct. I think Romero by himself will improve us, but it won't close the gap on the top teams. Yeah. Unfortunately, not a Romero by himself. We need other reinforcements. We know the right back situation is pretty screwed up at the moment. Aurier's going to leave. Doherty, even Nuno, who was a great player under Nuno for Wolves, even he seems apparently willing to let him go. So he doesn't seem to be a massive fan of him. We've got Sanchez, who still needs to get out the door. Reportedly, there was reports over the weekend that he still might. That's moved to Sevilla. Still might be on, but he needs still to leave. So we need to get another one in. So we have 4 centre backs. So I think Romero. Look, someone says so. Now Romero isn't a statement. I think Romero getting someone the quality of Romero. I don't think it's a statement. It's just something we should be doing. I think a statement would be, spending 100 million and getting like a superstar. I think in terms of getting Romero in, it's a great deal, great player, and someone I'm very, very happy with. Is it a statement signing? Probably not, because how can it be a statement signing when United just got Varane, Liverpool have got Konate in, they got Van Dijk coming back, whatever. Chelsea are getting Koundé for 50 million. So it can only be a statement if we're getting ahead of the competition. We're not getting ahead of the competition. We're catching up with the competition. So how's going to be a statement?
It becomes a statement when all the holes in our squad are filled by the end of the transfer window. That's when it becomes a statement. Yeah. One player alone does not make a statement, in my opinion. It would have done back in 2017, back in 2018, when we needed just one or two to really push on. But now we just need too many. And that as a whole is a statement if we bring all of those in, not just one player, because one player is not enough.
Exactly. You know, if we would have made the say like we made a Romero style signing, you know, when we just after we made the Champions League final or something like that, or the season before, the summer before that, that would have been a statement signing because that's when you're on top, you're getting better as a club and you're growing. And then you splash big money on a player to really help improve you. That's a statement signing to tell everyone, look, we really mean business. We're going to push forward, even if we don't win anything. Now it's like we're playing catch up. We're lagging behind the teams in front of us, the top four. They've already improved. They improved weeks ago. All right, they've already made signings to improve. So us making a great signing right now is not a statement. It's just us catching up. It's us trying to catch up to the competition and close the gap. So I don't think it's a statement just yet to say that we're serious. I just think it's something we need to do.
And that
to
one
even
signing
catch up.
doesn't even catch us up.
No,
doesn't even catch us up. A tiny bit. Not enough on its own. Nowhere near enough. It still doesn't make us into top four candidates, in my opinion.
No.
We got a super chat here from Matt Hayes. Big up yourself, Matt Hayes. And he says, the Kane situation is an unwelcome throwback to darker days. Modric, Bale, Berbatov, etc. Romero deal would have been the difference between then and now. What do you make that?
Romero deal would be the difference between then and now.
He says we wouldn't make that kind of deal when we were selling a Modric, Bale, Berbatov.
Yeah, I think that's potentially true. Although, yeah, because obviously when we sold Berbatov, who do we get? We got Pavlyuchenko in replacement.
Fraser Campbell, no?
And Fraser Campbell. When we sold Modric, we got Moussa Dembele in to replace him. And we had that summer where that was like the Moutinho summer. We ended up selling Dempsey instead of Moutinho and stuff like that. Do I think? I think this Romero deal, don't get me wrong, it's a great deal, and I'm really happy we're getting through the door. Don't get me wrong about that. I'm very excited about having someone of the class Romero coming in. But at the end of the day, he's at a club where he at Atalanta in the Champions League. He's at a club where he's gettable. He's not like a super club or anything. He's at a club where he probably sees Spurs. Look, Spurs, as much as we want to clown our own club, we're a bigger club than Atalanta. That's the truth. So he sees this as a great opportunity to move to London, go to a big Premier League club. And I think it's a deal. Despite, I think obviously the price, 43 million is quite high, but it's not even that high in this day and age, to be honest. So I don't think
that's still a long time after the moments he's talking about. Berbatov, Bale, Modric. Those days were an era before, though.
Yeah, but I'm just saying this Romero. People like understand the excitement, and I'm excited about Romero, but I don't think it's like. I don't think it's like this deal that's like a shocking deal that we've shocked the whole of Europe by getting him in. I think it's a great deal, and I'm happy we're getting him in, and I think he is going to improve us, and he's quite a caliber defender we need. But I just think it's what Tottenham should be doing right now, instead of like a massive shock or anything. Or
but the reason why it's a shock is because how we've acted in the transfer market over the past couple of years. That's why.
I guess we did sign in Ndombele for
and Lo Celso. I mean, we have signed players. True, we have signed players, but also with the kind of pandemic and everything, and Daniel Levy coming out and saying how broke we are and how we're not going to be spending that much money, and all this kind of stuff. That's also got into play with it too.
Yeah, but you forget we've sold players. We've got players off the wage bill. We have. Maybe we haven't sold 43 million's worth just yet, but we have got players out the door. We have earned a bit of money, so we're not spending as much as people think. Already you just take the Foyth deal into consideration. That's already 13 million off the price. You get another 5 million off for Toby Alderweireld, so that's 25 million. So you know what I mean? It's really not that much.
Yeah.
At the moment that we're spending, so it's not that big a shock to me.
Yeah.
That we're able to spend this money right now.
It's also like the kind of when we've been there, done that, and this deal's been toing and froing for so long. It's just like finally we're getting somewhere, it feels like. And look, I know we might seem a bit down at the moment because of what's going on with Kane at the moment, but there's no two ways about it. This is a brilliant deal for Tottenham Hotspur.
Definitely.
This is a brilliant deal for Tottenham Hotspur. But like I said, it pretty much means nothing if we don't get him a partner, if we don't get a right back in, and if we don't fill some more holes in the squad. So that's the facts of the matter. Mintu
Correct.
Lee with the super chat saying, Business 101, never trust a gentleman's agreement with a man with records of pushing and pulling, doing deals. Kane should have put in and get out. Should have put in a get out clause if the club fails him. Not showing up is expected, but not cool though. And yeah, I kind of agree with that.
Yeah, that's how I feel pretty much with the whole situation. I'm on the same page as Mintu Lee there. I think it's for me. It's not a surprise. I'm not happy about it, but it's not a shock. And if it is true, and also if it is true there is a gentleman's agreement and Levy has broken it, then what part of how culpable were Spurs in Kane not turning up to training, apart from ambitious and transfers and all that kind of stuff, which we already have agreed that Tottenham were completely culpable in that. If there is a gentleman's agreement and Levy has broken it, why is Kane the snake for not turning up to training?
Levy breaks gentleman's agreements every day, let's be honest.
Yeah, I know. But I'm saying, isn't surely Levy's the biggest snake then?
Yeah, and we all know that anyway, don't we?
But I'm saying, why is Kane getting all the flack if Tottenham and Levy are the ones who have broken the agreement, not Kane?
Kane's getting all the flack because he's because of the man he is. And, you know, this is so unexpected from that kind of guy he is. That's why he's getting all the flack.
Like you said, there's a way of going about it, right? Oh, you have to go about it the right way. But if Spurs aren't going about it the right way, why should he?
We don't know the facts of the matter, really.
Look, everyone's reporting there's a gentleman's agreement, right? No?
Yeah. Well, I saw BBC report
BBC, other people have...
But BBC are very reliable, so you've got to take it as what it is from
I'm just
BBC.
saying, okay, it's true, we don't know 100% if there's a gentleman. I'm just saying, if there is, then surely... Kane is within his right to kind of why does Kane need to be the better person if Spurs are acting in a way which is disrespectful to him? If he has an agreement with Levy and he's being and he feels like he's being disrespected, then why is it on him to be the bigger person? You know what I mean?
Look, at the end of the day, he knows who he's dealing with, doesn't he?
Exactly.
He knows who he's dealing with. And nobody wants to come into these dealings with Daniel Levy. He is literally the worst guy to come into at this point. He really is.
Will Stewart says, loving the new mics, lads, and the lower third is missing an S. Big up.
What does that mean?
I don't know what that means. What does he mean, the lower third is missing an S? I wish I knew what that meant.
The name strap or the strap?
I don't know what he's talking about. He says the lower third.
Anyway, we got a new member in Michael Fasulo. Welcome to Silver, my friend. Really good to have you as part of the family. We've got a couple more headlines to get through before we start taking calls. The next one is Tottenham apparently are now interested in Adama Traore.
Yeah, which is surprising, considering how much he's probably going to cost from Wolves. Obviously, Nuno had him as one of his players, and he made him into a player who was quite effective a couple years ago, who really got a good final third output out of Adama Traore. This is reported from The Times, Gary Jacob, who can be fairly reliable. So it says Tottenham hold an interest in Adama Traore, but he's going to cost upwards of 45 million. So at that price, to be honest, for me, I wouldn't be that interested. He's very much like Lucas Moura, but for me, he's even you could even argue he's less effective than Lucas Moura, despite the fact he's got amazing dribbling ability and great strength and everything. He's got great attributes, but for me, I just think Adama Traore is one who's going to frustrate the hell out of us if we sign him. You know what I mean?
He's not one that I would want through the door, to be honest. I genuinely think Lucas Moura is a better player than him, and I think he can mould Bergwijn into a better player than him.
Yeah.
I think that Traore, he had that one season where it really looked like his end product was coming along, but I think last season he took another step backwards, in my opinion.
So yeah, exactly. So that's why I think he had an awful season last season. Maybe it was because of all the injuries and he was, struggling to adjust to that. I just feel like Adama Traore for me is a player who he wouldn't improve us, I don't think. As much as he's got I know even though Nuno had him and arguably Nuno knows how to get the best out of him, I just feel like he's a player who we would sign and then we have enough frustrating wingers, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Why would we want to
get rid of Lamela and bring in another one?
Look, yeah, like Lucas Moura as well. He's in the same boat. So why would we get rid of Why would we sell if we were to sell Lucas and bring in Adama Traore? That wouldn't make sense to me. Apart from the fact that Adama Traore is younger, I don't know. Apart from that,
How old is he?
I think he's like 24, so he's quite a bit younger than Lucas. But still, look. If we're going to spend 45 million, I'd rather spend it differently than Adama Traore.
Look, at the end of the day, I think that if Nuno was to want to bring in Adama Traore, he knows all about him. So I actually would back Nuno on this occasion if he did want to bring him in.
Yeah, I guess. But I don't know. I wouldn't want to. I would personally not want to spend 45 million on him.
Is that the money being banded about 45 million?
That's what they're saying. 45 million. That's
It's a bit steep, to be honest.
very
It is
steep
a bit
for a
steep.
player who's not going to be guaranteed a place in the starting 11, and he just can be very frustrating a lot of the time. Adama Traore, and I think he will frustrate all of us if he came. That's what I feel.
The next one is Cameron Carter-Vickers. CCV is in talks with Celtic, apparently. Celtic looking to make a double signing of Tottenham this summer in Joe Hart and Cameron Carter-Vickers.
Yeah, that'd be great. Apparently the price reportedly is 5 million for Carter-Vickers. That's what Tottenham are asking for. So hopefully Celtic can finally take him off our hands. No disrespect for him. I just don't think he's ever going to be part of the first team at Tottenham. I don't think he's of the required quality. So I'm hoping that they can get this deal done. It's according to the Times as well that Celtic are interested and are in talks with him right now. So hopefully this one get over the line. And I think 5 million will be a very good fee for us if that's a price we can get. I think even, to be honest, I think we should accept less than 5 million. I don't, because otherwise, what if they offer like 2.5 or something? You know,
Just
if
take
no one
what
else
you
is
can
coming
get.
in,
Just
exactly.
take what you can get.
as much
But
money as
if they
possible.
are willing to part with 5 million, then I'm not going to say no. And they're looking at apparently a fee of 1 million for Joe Hart.
Yeah. So, I mean, if we can get 6 million for both of them, that would be fantastic. Just a few more updates before you start getting callers on from Romano's been speaking about the whole Kane saga. You know, obviously him not turning up to training. He says Man City are preparing to try again to sign Harry Kane. I think this week it will be a lot clearer as to what is happening. And then he goes on to say, however, Tottenham are convinced that Harry Kane will still be a Tottenham player next season. So Romano saying that Spurs are still saying that he's not for sale and they're convinced that he's going to be a Tottenham player. And he goes on to talk about Romero, saying that Christian Romero only wants to go to Tottenham and he will talk with the Atlanta manager and the Atlanta board today to try and push for a move. And he says Tottenham will have obviously made an official €50 million bid for Romero, which is the maximum they'll pay. Atlanta have not yet accepted the proposal. However, it could be because they're looking for replacements first. So a lot of positive news there about Romero potentially coming in, and it looks like that one is getting closer by the day. And with the Harry Kane one, it sounds like at the moment Tottenham are holding firm. He says Harry Kane's situation is now really tense between the club and the player. So apparently there's a lot of tension now.
I can see that. He hasn't turned up to training.
There you go.
But the way I would look at this deal, right? I saw reports over the weekend that Lautaro Martinez, they're looking to sell him. They need the money in, and they're looking at between like 60 and 70 million to get him in, and he's open to a move to the Premier League.
I tell you what, if we got Lautaro Martinez in place of Kane, that would be the best option.
That's what I'm saying. So like, sell Kane for 100 plus a player or 150 million, on that ballpark figure, 130, 140 million. Bring in Martinez for 70 million, you still get some change.
I mean, that would be the best of a bad situation, wouldn't it?
It would be, definitely. I would love that. I would love for that. Obviously, I wouldn't love for Kane to leave, but I would love for that to happen in terms of Kane obviously wants to leave. Kane's going to leave either this summer or next summer. Make the best of a bad situation and bring in a top quality striker.
Yeah, and I think Lautaro Martinez, I don't think we're getting any better than him if Kane leaves and we're able to bring him in.
But he's a realistic option.
Yeah, because Inter Milan need the money, don't they? Although there's reports today that saying Chelsea are going to try and really push for Lukaku.
Oh, really?
So they're not going to sell both.
From what I'm hearing, is Lukaku's completely untouchable at Inter Milan, and Lautaro Martinez is available.
Yeah, that's true.
Aidan O'Brien with the super chat saying 100 million plus Laporte. Would you take it? I think I would take that. 100 million plus Laporte. Would you take that?
100 million plus support and we get Martinez in as well.
Yeah,
probably. at this stage, if he is going to be pushing for a move, I think I probably would take it. Let's look at some of your tweets. People have been tweeting us on our Twitter account. Harry Kane fan account has been tweeting us. He says, I think we are all were supportive of Kane leaving. We understand he wants to win trophies, but if he's going to force his way out by not coming to training like this, then I am disappointed. We're all disappointed because we all hoped that Kane wouldn't go this far. But unfortunately, and the reality is he might have to try and get his move. And that's the sad reality of the situation. So I from that point of view, I understand it. Barlow Knots Official says, can you get a reliable source to say where Kane is? Is there a legit reason he's not at Hotspur Way? Sick of made up stuff. I think it's to try and push for a move. That's what people are saying.
Sounded low there.
That's what I'm feeling. Let's see what other tweets are there. Max Sadler says, safe to say that you have done your part in helping Spurs become the club it is now. I'll be forever grateful for your contribution. However, skipping training is not the way to get a move. Not only is it disrespectful, it's plain wrong. You have the support of the fans right now, but very quickly this will take a turn for the worst. You are meant to be a representation of professionalism, but you're being immature. I understand you want to move, but stop now before bridges are broken. Says Max Sadler. I just think it's a very idealistic it's a very idealistic way of looking at it. Of course, I think you're right in what you're saying. However, there's an argument to say Spurs aren't being professional in how they've dealt with him in that sense. And if they didn't make an agreement and they're going back on the agreement, then I can understand why he's pissed off and he's not happy. So what can I say? Luke says, on the wages Kane earns, he should not be pushing for an exit through not returning for training. I get he feels his time is up, but he put pen to paper to stay until 2024.
Exactly. That's also a case, man. He signed a 6-year contract. He signed a 6-year contract and saying all this stuff at the same time, being like, oh, if this club's not moving in the direction, I won't stay. He's the one that signed a 6-year deal.
Yeah, but maybe he signed it with certain promises in place from Levy.
Yeah, that's also true.
We were going to go in a certain direction.
That's also true. That's also true.
Maybe he did that, and then those promises have been broken. That wouldn't surprise me at all.
Do you reckon that's what the gentleman's agreement is? Maybe in terms of just not like him saying last year, oh, you can leave next summer. Maybe that's the gentleman's agreement when they sign the contract.
I mean, the reports are the gentleman's agreement was last year, but maybe that's also something that Kane, was said in a few years' time was still in the same place or not moving forward. Then you should let me leave. And maybe he agreed. I don't know. It's difficult. Would you be happy with 100 million for Kane plus Carl Walker? Says Benjamin Hestad.
Ooh, plus Carl Walker. How old is Carl now? Like 30. I don't know about that. I'd rather Laporte, to be honest. I think Laporte and Romero would be a fine centre-back pairing.
Then all of a sudden that's a partnership that could compete with the ones above us.
Exactly.
So that would be fantastic. Who are the tweets? That's it for now, I think. Should we start getting some callers on?
Yeah, let's start getting some callers on. Who's on first? Brad Matthews. Let's speak to Brad.
Let's get Brad on. Let's get his take on it. Hey, Brad.
How you doing, mate?
How you doing, guys? How you doing?
Yeah, I mean, it's a tough one to take this morning. It really is. But what's your opinion on the whole Kane situation?
Well, first of all, this is probably my busiest week of the month at work, right? So I thought, right, I'm not going to watch anything. I'm going to busy working away. And then, of course, this news came through. It's like, So that went out the window. I'm a bit shocked that he hasn't turned up for training, to be honest. I didn't think that he would do that. But we haven't had any statements from either Kane, his people, or the club. So, and he was due back today for his COVID test, wasn't it? So
yeah, there was a few tests that were supposed to be happening today, yeah.
Yeah, I heard it's COVID test today, and if that's negative, he resumes fitness training tomorrow.
Right.
So when I first heard the news, I thought, well, they're jumping the gun a bit by saying he hasn't turned up to training. It's like, well, there might be a reason. Maybe his car's broken down or something like that. So we haven't actually heard anything. So
Wishful thinking, Brad.
I think that
I know. And then suddenly you get all the various reporters that are saying that he hasn't turned up. I'm a bit surprised. I'm sort of surprised and not surprised because he's been saying all this time that the club's got to be moving forward, and we've just moved backwards in the last season and a half. And he's only yes, I know he signed the deal 6 years and that sort of thing, but I'm at the attitude now, and I never thought I'd say this, is that if he really wants to go and he's doing this, we would need to sell him now to get in a striker to replace him in the remainder of the window. Because let's face it, this Romero deal, this has gone on since the beginning of time.
Yeah.
So if we can't get out, if it's taken that long to get that over the line, how are we going to get a striker in if we sell Kane? So if it's come to the stage where there's just no other option, then we need to do it quickly. And I know that sounds really horrible. I never thought I'd ever be saying that, but yeah, it's sort of got to that stage. Again, I'm still surprised he hasn't turned up.
Mm.
Will he play if he plays for us? I still think he'll play well if he stays at the club. I still think he's that sort of person. But yeah, it's one of those things where I thought I'd set views on it, and now they're sort of starting to change a bit. And I think he's going to be really careful with how the supporters see him, because it's left a little bit of a bad taste in my mouth, and I'm quite a reasonable sort of guy, so some of the people out there might not be so reasonable.
Are you of the opinion that what he's doing right now is unacceptable and disrespectful, and he can't do this under any circumstances, or do you think are you of the belief that maybe it's come to a point where Tottenham not moving in the right direction continually, and it's kind of at some point there's going to be a breaking point, and if he doesn't force through the move now, he's not going to get his move? What would you say to that?
Yeah, it's a difficult one, because he's never struck me as that sort of person. Again, we don't know what this so-called gentleman's agreement was. I mean, there's a famous saying that a gentleman's agreement is not worth the paper it's written on, but we don't know what was said in that. So, if it's something that Daniel Levy has just basically, betrayed him with this written agreement, this gentleman's agreement, then maybe he's thought this is the only option. So, I don't know. It's left, as I said, it's left a bit of a bad feeling in my mouth, or bad taste in my mouth. But I don't know.
Brad, if Levy has broken a gentleman's agreement, then is Kane within his right to do what he's doing now? If Levy has actually done that, or do you still think that he has no right to do what he's doing?
Technically speaking, no. Of course he's not. He's under a written contract. So if you went to a court of law, that's it'd be under the written contract. So as I say, a written agreement is
not in terms of a court of law, but I'm just saying, like, in terms of like being disrespectful to the club and all that kind of stuff. If he's feeling disrespected from the hierarchy, does he have to? Do you think, like, from your point of view, is it more understandable why he hasn't turned up for training?
You know what, I think Kane has got to be respectful to the supporters, as that's the number one thing. Because at the end of the day, we're the ones that go and see him and cheer him on. So I think that will be his number one thing he'd be thinking before he did this move. It's not so much the club, because the club at the end of the day, it's just a club. The supporters are the lifeblood of that club. So yeah, I think we'd be the first thing that you should be thinking about. I'm really actually, and I know it sounds really strange, I'm actually quite lost for words at the moment. I really don't know what to think. Again, I will stress that we don't know the ins and outs of this situation at the moment. So until that is sort of we get more clarification on that, then it's probably not the right idea to be sort of jumping the gun, going one way or the other, in our feelings towards Harry Kane.
Yeah, but even if the thing is, Brad, as well, even if he does try and force through a move, if City do, and there's reports over the weekend that if City buy Grealish for 100 million, then that will end their pursuit for Kane anyway. So, do you think it could turn out to be fruitless anyway, even if he does push through a move that City, like, he might not be able to find a club to afford him?
It could work out that way, but also this Grealish move might have triggered this move by Kane. maybe his people have said, listen, Harry, if they buy Grealish, they ain't going to be buying you. So you've got to do something now so that Man City will suddenly think, oh, hang on a minute, maybe we have got a chance of Kane. Because at the moment, I would say that you're right. They can't afford. Well, if they can afford Grealish and Kane, then there is something incredibly wrong with football, and all the fair play and all sort of rubbish.
We all know fair play. Financial fair play took a step backwards because of COVID and everything. I think they put it on pause and whatever. So I don't think that's going to be an issue this summer. Financial fair play.
Well, no, but there's that other court case going on, wasn't there, about their income and that sort of thing?
Yeah, I saw that. But I think maybe they're going to try and get some transfers in there before they get their transfer ban.
Yeah, well, maybe. But I think that maybe that Man City's attitude could be, well, we're not going to have any luck with Kane, but we'll go for Grealish. And now Kane's people have said, hang on a minute, they're going for Grealish now. Maybe you should make some sort of stand, or else you're not going to get this deal. But yeah, it's one of those. It'd make a good soap opera, wouldn't it? Really.
I mean, it is making good soap opera, but not good ones for our heart, that's for sure. But in terms of, go on. Sorry.
I was going to say. I mean, my heart sank this morning when I first saw the headline, like it did when I saw the thing about Pochettino being sacked.
Yeah.
So that's how much effect it's had on me. So, oh no, sort of thing. Because I was like you guys, was convinced he's not going to move. He's going to move. He's going to come back for training. He's going to say, "Oh, yeah, it didn't work out. Excuse me. I'm going to play the season with Spurs." Blah blah blah, sort of thing. But this is stunned me a little bit.
And in terms of the deal that we could potentially get for him, the price is banded around about 150 million. But then, there's also prices being banded around about 100 million plus a player. Which one would you prefer to go for if the deal is with Man City?
If it's a player that's a defender, I would probably accept that because there's always talk about Bernardo Silva. There's always talk about, on another thing, Traore, and I'm thinking, well, we've actually got quite a few players that are like that. We're just adding to it, sort of thing. I think a defender, because that, we need the defender. This Romero deal, if that goes through, which hopefully it will, that looks like a good buy. And then you need another one. So if you got, say, I don't think Laporte, any stretch of the imagination, would say yes. But if you got 100 million plus Laporte, and that was done quickly, so that's our defensive centre back sorted.
Yeah.
Then you can spend the rest of the transfer window getting a replacement for Kane, getting your right back sorted out, and anything else that they need to do.
Yeah.
So I would certainly, if it's a decent defender, and probably only Laporte's the only one because they've just spent the money on the other guy. So yeah.
Today's news about Harry Kane has really kind of overshadowed some really good news that's happened today in terms of Christian Romero edging closer. I mean, it seems as though nobody's talking about it because of the Harry Kane move. But how much of a big deal is this for Tottenham signing Christian Romero?
I think they've got to get this one over the line because every time I read about him, he sounds like a very, very decent player. He's 23. If he's on a 5-year deal, we've got him for a while. He's that aggressive defender that we've been looking for. Anyone that's the Italian defender of the year has got to be fairly decent,
Very true, very true.
And the other main point is he wants to come to Tottenham. He really wants to come to Tottenham from what we're hearing. So if that's the situation...
Should we be worried about that, though?
Well, I was trying to think of that the other day. I was actually thinking about this the other day. I was thinking, hang on a minute, why would you really want to go to Tottenham? But then again, he's got Lo Celso in the Argentinian squad. He's got probably knows Lamela. So they probably all told him, that's a great club. You should go there, definitely. I find it quite strange, actually, that no one else has been in for him. That's a bit odd. As such a decent player.
Yeah.
But yeah, he obviously wants to play in the Premiership. And as I said before, the Premiership for Tottenham is probably more alluring than the Champions League for Atalanta. We keep selling ourselves down the road saying that we're not a big club anymore. We should be obviously winning things, but we're still a bit of a pull sort of thing. And I think that that he's obviously got good words from the guys, his Argentinian teammates. So hopefully he actually, he wants to come to the club. He generally does, and we do the right thing by actually getting some other players in, and And then, I mean, also we don't know what Paratici might have said to his people.
Yeah.
You know, like, we're going to get this person in and that person in. And also, he's at the age where he can think, okay, I can sit out a season without the Champions League and try my hardest to get Tottenham into the Champions League. You know, so there's that. So there's all sorts of things.
Well, I guess we're just going to have to wait to see how this story rumbles on. But Brad, I'm sure we'll have many more words with you around the Kane saga over the next couple of days.
Wait and see seems to be the catchphrase now, isn't it? Wait and see.
At the moment, yeah.
Exactly, Brad. But look, thanks a lot for coming on, my friend. And make sure you keep sane over this Harry Kane whole debacle.
Yeah, definitely. Cheers, guys. Have a good day.
Come you Spurs.
See ya. Romano has apparently said, from what I'm told, Harry Kane will end up playing for Tottenham this season.
Hey,
That's what Romano's saying. So I think there's still a lot of moving parts to be done right now in terms of this deal. So as much as today hurts and we're all kind of a bit shocked and a bit sad by Kane's actions, I think it's still a lot to be determined whether he actually does leave just yet. So I don't think it's a foregone conclusion. Just to say as well, the Conference League draw is going to be coming up soon. So I think what we'll do is, I don't know when it's going to start. So we'll still carry on taking callers, but we might need to just cut away when the draw starts, and we'll get whoever we're talking to, we'll get them back on after the draw. So apology to the next caller, we might have to cut you off when the draw starts, but we'll continue to get callers on for now, I think.
And who else better to carry on with than Brian Daichil? Come on, Brian.
How's
it
morning,
going,
lads?
Brian?
All good, lads. How about yourself?
Yeah, I mean, it's just depressing, isn't it, with the Harry Kane news coming out. It's not really a surprise to anyone, to be honest, but it's just depressing knowing where our club's at, knowing where Harry Kane's head's at. I mean, in your opinion, will he be a Tottenham player in the coming season? I know you said no originally, but has that thinking changed at all?
Nope, not at all. I've said it the whole time. And I must admit, Ben, I think you sent the signals off to me again, because I woke up at 25 to 7 in the morning here and then saw you were going live. And I was like, okay, why not? So 25 to 7 on a bank holiday over here. And I was like, I'm obviously going to come on. I've said it from the beginning, so I'm not going to go back on myself and say, oh, no, now he's going to stay. But I honestly, there's a lot of people in the comments calling him a snake. There's a lot of people on social media calling him a snake. He's not a snake at all. He is not a snake. He's been lied to year after year, season after season. Promised that we're going to grow and things are going to happen, and it's not happened. And as I said on Tottenham Away on Friday, we had just one season to try and get the players in to show that we meant business and to show that, okay, we are trying to do stuff. What with Paratici coming in, and then into the Romero saga. And as you were just saying, Matt Hayes did an incredible video on Friday saying, yep, it's going forward. And then that was an hour before the two Bryans started. And about half an hour into the two Bryans, it was, no, Romero's not happening. I mean, that's got to be a new record. That has to be a new record. And the development saying he's coming closer, it's all smoke screens. It's all smoke screens. And like I said, I do not
think
blame
Romero will get over the line.
I think it's not going to be as simple as it's agreed already and it's done. I think there's going to be a few more twists. I think, as you said, Ben, I think it will get done in the end, but it's too little, too late, and we need a partner. It's all well and good bringing him in, but who's there to partner him? Dyer?
No. Yeah. Brian, I want to know from your point of view as a man who's as anti-Levy as they come, pretty much as you
the poster boy for Enoch out, we call
exactly.
it.
There we go.
What's your on Kane's actions today? Do you feel like he's disrespected Tottenham and the fans and stuff like that, or do you feel like this is the actions he has to take to get the move he wants?
Well, as I've said before, this gentleman's agreement, I have said this many a time, that having a gentleman's agreement with Levy is like going for a prostate exam and then finding that Wolverine is your doctor. That is basically what a gentleman's agreement with Levy is. This has apparently been said, and I'm sure when he signed this 6-year contract, Poch was there, and he loves Poch. We're in a Champions League final. things were going forward. We're moving into this new stadium that was going to provide everything, and then and then look what's happened. He has given what you cannot doubt. We've also, what you got to remember is we have overplayed Kane every single season because we have not addressed the issue of finding a suitable replacement for him, so he doesn't pick up injuries, so he's not playing all season. That has cost us as well. We have not brought in someone to lighten the load, to give him a rest when he needs it, and he has continued to be overplayed and undervalued. Yes, he's got a huge contract, fine, but it's not just the contract. He wants to know that it's going somewhere. Tottenham is his beloved club that he wants to do well in, and for year after year he's been lied to. So why shouldn't Kane do this? I mean, as much as I hate that he's doing it, as much as I hate it, why is it now everyone's calling him a snake, but year after year people go, oh yeah, but Levy, we've got this stadium, this is time where you realise that there is big issues. When you've got a guy who loves the club, grown up at the club, wants nothing but the best for the club, but has been lied to constantly, and then he has to go, he has been forced to go to these measures, and I don't blame him at all. I do not have one bad thing to say about him.
Is he disrespecting the fans? Is he disrespecting the fans by doing what he's doing?
Well, do you know what? A lot of fans are going to say, yeah, he's disrespecting the fans because they won't address the real issue. People will not address the real issue. And I spoke to Brian Ireland yesterday, and I know I'm going to come into a lot of flack for what I'm about to say. I said to Brian, I'm prepared, and I've had this conversation with Bobsper before, I am prepared, and quite a few people actually on our family, for anything to happen to the club if someone told me that guarantees Levy goes next season. I will take anything. And at one point, I even said to Brian Ireland, "There's about
relegation, Brian.
I'll take a relegation. I will take anything for this to address it." So much so that I even said, you know what? There's because I'm kind of worried that if we get a load of players in, people will go, "Oh, look, Levy's done through," because then we're stuck with what we're with, and it's down to one person and one person only, and then and only then do I think the fan base will unite and realise what the real problem is.
Yeah, I completely.
That's how serious.
Yeah.
Go on, Sim.
No, I understand what you're saying, and I think as well, people also, if there is a gentleman's agreement and Levy has reneged on it, then you got to think as well that Spurs, as much as people might think Kane's being disrespectful to the fans, isn't Levy being disrespectful to Kane if that's the case, and he has reneged on a potential gentleman's agreement? And is there nothing? Why does he get away with that, yet Kane has to remain respectful to the club at all times when he's being shit on?
Exactly. Simeon, exactly. I don't know what we have to do or what has to happen at this club for, like, obviously people know, and I honestly, I know I am Levy's number one hater, and trust me, he gets videos. I send him the links to every single rant I have. I personally send them to him. I highly doubt he sees them, but he's getting them. And we have to go. I don't know what extreme it has to go to till people see from that side that Levy or on the fence. I don't know what it is, the straw that breaks the camel's back for them. I don't know what it is that's got to happen for people to realise that not only what I've been saying, but what a growing number of people have been saying is true, and address this issue, because this is all going to keep repeating itself. I mean, like you say, we had one season to get this right. Like, Paratici came in, that's a start. We brought in a goalkeeper and a left winger, not priorities, but it's like, okay, these deals are coming in, these are quite good players. And then the big one, the big fish comes in, Romero. And it's like, here we go, let's get him in. If we can get him in quickly, this is a deal that will make sense and we'll do everything. And then the normal saga happens. Oh, no, we don't do this. And then, oh, my God, you have 5 million. Then, oh, no, let's do this. It's time after time after time. And it's got to be addressed that every time this happens, there's been a lot of change with managers. There's been a lot of change with directors of football. There is one constant. There is one common denominator, and it's a parasite who needs to leave the club.
Do you think, though, even like as much as at the moment it seems like, yeah, Kane's pushing for a move and it's going to happen and everything, is it still very much up in the air whether he actually does get his move? Seeing as Man City are bidding 100 million for Grealish, if that deal goes through, it's unlikely they're going to spend another 100 million plus on another player this summer. So as much as Kane could kick up a fuss all summer, could it all end up moot if there's no one who can afford him?
So one thing I will say, Simeon, I think Kane will go to City even if Grealish goes, because as I've said on a few streams as well, if Man City know they've got a transfer ban coming up and they're not going to be able to spend, which means they could be out of getting Haaland by absolute proxy, why not go out and spend all the money they want before this ban comes in? Why not make sure you're covered, spend the money, you know you've got a ban coming up, which is quite possible. Let's make sure all our business is done before this sanction comes in. So why not? He's still got every chance. I mean, you've got to remember as well, I don't think Kane will stoop this low, but this puts Chelsea right bang smack in the middle of it as well. I don't think he'll go there, but Roman Abramovich, who has already... I said I don't think he will, but that doesn't stop Chelsea trying to make a bid for him.
Let them try.
To put extra... Exactly. Like I said, they could try. I don't think he'll go there. I'm saying that now. I do not think Kane will go to Chelsea. As I said at the beginning, I don't think he will stoop that low. But that does throw Chelsea, who have obviously put already interest in Haaland. They know they need a striker. Nothing stops Chelsea trying to stir the pot now.
Let them. I mean, it'll just cause a bidding war.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I do not rule Man City out just because they're getting Grealish. That's what I will say.
I was kind of thinking maybe this Jack Grealish move could be just a bit of a smokescreen to worry Kane into saying he's not getting his move.
But it could very easily be that as well. Very, very easily. But I just think literally, like I said, I think they could be going out for the pair of them. If they're about to be banned, why not go out for the pair of them?
So you think your gut's telling you right now Kane is going to go to Man City before the end of the window? That's what you're feeling?
Yep.
And what kind of deal do you think we're going to get for him?
I honestly don't know. We're dealing with him. I like we said before, I think one of the viewers or people in the chat said 100 million plus to pour. If Romero does come in and we're struggling to get another defender, that solves the issue with getting another defender in and some money. But now the biggest issue we have to address is we need to get in a backup striker, because even if Kane stays, he ain't going to be happy. He is not going to be one happy bunny. He will pick up an injury. And if the gentleman's agreement / Wolverine exam comes in next season, the money goes down and we need to sort out a striker before that. Just like we brought in the goalie for Galini to cover Lloris. We need to get another striker in. And then what's going to happen there?
What striker would you like to see come in?
If there is one, and I don't think it will happen, it's I can't say his name, so I'm just not going to try and butcher it, the Fiorentina bloke.
Vlahovic.
There you go. I would love him just because I've heard quite a few people talk about him a hell of a lot. Iggy knows a lot about him and speaks about him a lot. He would be the one, but again, that's 50 million. Yeah, and that means we'll start off with a 25 million pound bid with a pot noodle and a season-long Oyster card. So that will be the opening bid. So it's just a case if we can get that one over the line. But he would be the one.
All right, Brian, absolute pleasure as always, my friend.
Always a pleasure, boys.
I'm sure we'll speak in the coming days as this story develops.
We will.
But yeah, good to have you on as always.
Nice to see you, Brian.
As always, Levy out. Have a good one, boys.
Up the Spurs. We got a super chat as Brian was on from Gregory Casey saying, speaking of playing at the top, never forget that Kane did play in a Champions League final 2 years ago and was as equally responsible for Spurs' failure on the night as any other member of the team.
Look, people can say that, but it's like you can't just put the blame on Kane.
No, he's saying as any other member of the team. I mean, that's right. I mean, everyone was equally to blame for that.
Yeah, fine.
It was not just Harry Kane. You can't say that.
Yeah. So, but I don't understand the point.
There is no point.
I always say this, like Thierry Henry, he never scored a goal in a final.
Yeah.
Does that mean he's a bottler and he's rubbish and he never turned up for finals? No, because he had a good team around him and they didn't have to rely on him all the time, even though he stepped up in very big moments and he was always obviously a very big player and scored lots of goals. They weren't just Thierry Henry, so they didn't have to rely on him for the big moments. It doesn't mean he was never turned up and was rubbish. It just means he had a team with him. It's a team sport at the end of the day. It's not just a sport of individuals. It's a team sport, and Kane can't do everything by himself. There's only so much one player can do. So I hate it when people say, "Oh, he bottles finals and all." This is rubbish. It's just rubbish when it comes to Kane.
Finals. It's everyone.
It's
Tottenham.
Tottenham.
It's the whole squad. It's the whole team. It's everything that bottles finals. He's got Heung-min Son with him. Don't forget.
It's Tottenham who bottle finals. Exactly. Yeah. What's Son ever done in a final? Does that mean he's a bottler? You know what I mean?
Finlay with the super chat saying Laporte Romero centre back pairing would be magical, and I completely agree. And that is probably why I would take 100 million plus Laporte. I think.
Yeah, if that's possible. Yeah.
I think it would be but it's a question of would he join us, Laporte? But he's not getting game time at City, that's for sure, though.
At the moment, he's not. There's always a possibility he can break back into the
yeah.
team. So no, just because he had a season last season where Stones was great and he wasn't getting much game time doesn't mean that that's going to be the case forever. You know what I mean?
Of course, but the way maybe Laporte's looking at it is like, oh, this guy wasn't playing me. John Stones has had a great Euros, and you know.
Or maybe he's thinking, one injury to Stones, I'm back in, and it's possible if he gets back in, he won't relinquish his place because he's that good. He can just keep his place. So I don't know. Look, of course it's possible. I don't know what he's thinking, but I think it's more likely he's not going to want to move.
Yeah. All right, let's get Bob Spur on. 10 minutes to go till the Conference League draw, but let's get Bob Spur on just before. Yes, Bob, how's it going, mate?
Come on, Bob.
I'm all good. Can you hear me?
Yeah, all
Are
good.
you all good, Bob? It's been a good morning for you, have you? Have you been? It's been okay for you?
Yeah, I mean, we'd be lying if we said we didn't, potentially see it coming. It was always on the cards. So, but like I've been saying in the group, it's staying. It's staying. He can throw his toys out the prams, but end of the day, it's a test for Levy now. What my thoughts on Levy, not as hardcore as Brian, obviously, but, I want him shifted on. I want the owners to move on or certainly reform. But Kane, I think once he starts banging in the goals, everything will be forgotten. But it certainly has divided up the fan base this morning, and which is unfortunate, but it's totally understandable.
Do you think that if Kane is forced to stay and he does stay with us for an extra year this year, maybe not intentionally but subconsciously down tools?
See, by saying no, he wouldn't, it's kind of being a bit of a hypocrite because he's been totally unprofessional today. I think we need to divide it up, don't we? Today is totally on Kane. The Canes, basically, they shouldn't have done what they've done today. Still, we don't know what the official line is, but it seems like he hasn't turned up because he wants to move. So today it's down to them. But if you stand back and look at the bigger picture, it is the fact, I think you guys mentioned it a couple of times, it's the fact he's been let down by the club. He has been let down by not bringing in the Grealishes or the Skriniars or the Brunos or the Dybalas. Just those four players, we would have been in, potentially would have been, no one knows how they would have turned out, but potentially would have been in a different situation today. And the bigger picture is that we've got a weak squad. We need players in. Romero, please get that confirmed ASAP because everything's deflected off that at the moment, understandably. But yeah, would he down tools? You'd want to say no. He'd be professional. He's Spurs through and through. He'll do the best. But at the same time, if that was the case, today wouldn't have happened. So I don't know how you weigh it up.
How do you see today's actions? Do you think he's disrespected the fans and the club by doing what he's doing, or do you think that if it is true that Levy, if the whole gentleman's agreement is true, and Levy has kind of reneged the gentleman's agreement, is it more understandable why Kane is taking these actions?
I'd question who he's being advised by. A verbal gentleman agreement with Levy, of all people, with Levy. And expect and put your faith in it. I'd put it down in paper. Surely in today's game, the way everything is today, you'd put it down on paper, wouldn't you? And say these are the promises, or these are the guidelines that we want to be going by. I think today it is, but Sim, I know what you said, mate, but I do think it's probably a bit disrespectful. At least turn up for training. At least don't let the media make a circus out of him not turning up. Just come in and maybe sit there and speak to Levy or do whatever. But I know the onus isn't on him to show actions. It's been for the last 8 years for the club to show action. But I think today could have been prevented by him simply just turning up.
But what about if he sees it as his only option to get a move is to try and force it? If he's being advised, look, maybe he's being advised wrong, but if he sees his only option of leaving, if he actually plays nice and if he actually turns up and to training and be all professional, maybe he's thinking that the club won't allow it will be too easy for the club to not allow him his move if he doesn't try and kick up a fuss, and maybe he sees it as his only way. And if he does, what would you say to that?
Yeah, I mean, then I'd stand back. I'll stand by my statement. By not turning up, he's made an indirect statement one way or another. We don't want him to come out and make a statement, but we're okay for him not to turn up for training today. In a way, that's probably a worse. I'd rather him come out and say, guys, thank you very much. We're on discussion with the board right now. We need to clarify a couple of things. It doesn't have to say he has to leave, or just at least put something out there for us to get a bit of clarity. Because right now we've got a 25 division within the fan base, which is unfortunately created by today's action by the Canes. But like I say, the reason why we've come to that, he's come to that decision today, is down to the lack of ambition that has been shown by Levy and Enoch. So we do need to probably categorise it up a bit. But today, yes, I do believe, mate, there's better ways of doing it. Like I say, there's a circus where there possibly wouldn't have to have been. There would have been a circus if he puts out a statement, of course. But at least we had factual statement that we could have referred to. At the moment, it's still a guessing game, isn't it? Really, if you think about it.
If he put out a statement, Bob, nobody could argue with that. Everyone knows the facts of the situation right now. That Harry Kane wants to leave. We're not showing the right ambition for him to stay.
We might not like it. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Look, we might not like it, but we could all get behind that and be like, look, this is the facts of the matter. But when he fails to show up to training after signing a big, long, bumper 6-year contract, it's hard to take, isn't it?
Exactly, and like I say, it's a statement in itself, isn't it, Ben? By not turning up and all this going on Sky Sports and Romano saying he's definitely staying at Tottenham, we could have prevented all that. We could have just referred to one statement from Kane, and like I say, he could have said, I'm staying, he could have said I'm leaving, or he could have said I'm in discussions with regards to my future with Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. And you know what? We could have stood back and said, we understand. He just needs to have a bit of clarity, like we all need. And the fact of the matter is, Tottenham Hotspur Football Club is bigger than Kane. And if we look at that right now, we're such a weak squad. With Toby leaving, Lamela leaving, Romero not coming in, Kane possibly leaving. We're so weak. We've probably been the weakest we have been for God knows how long. And that needs to be rectified and sorted ASAP. The Kanes, the Romeros, etc., will happen in due course. But right now, the focus needs to be on strengthening our squad because, mate, I don't know what's. I still think we're going to challenge for top four, but like I said, but it's a mess at the moment within the fan base, within the club, and we need to get things in order. We need to really
at the end of the day, Bob, in that interview with Gary Neville with Harry Kane at the back end of last season, he was saying that he needs to sit down with the chairman and discuss the future and whatever. I don't know if that discussion's happened since then, but I don't think it has because he's went to the Euros straight after. He hasn't been back at Tottenham till now. Well, he still hasn't been back at Tottenham. So for me, for him to turn up to training like that, I think it's a bit of a kick in the teeth. He should be coming back and having a man-to-man chat with Daniel Levy.
Well, apparently he is having a chat today with Levy.
He is.
Just not at training, yeah.
Right.
Okay. Well, we're guessing, aren't we? I mean, we don't know if he's had a. Like I said, all this could have been not prevented. Of course, there would have been a circus, regardless of the statement. But at least we would have had a bit more clarity. And I just think not turning up for training today, as an understanding we can be with regards to the situation we're at the moment, I think was probably the wrong kind of statement to put out because essentially, by not turning up, he has put a statement out.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I just feel like Like last season, everyone was like pretty much resigned to like saying, "Look, Kane is going to want to leave. We're going nowhere. Look, we wish him well if he leaves, because I completely understand if Kane wants to go." But why are we all so surprised now that this is what it looks like? I don't know why we're surprised. We shouldn't be.
No, we shouldn't. We shouldn't. We're not surprised, and the fan base asks themselves, we're not surprised that he wants to move on. Of course, he's been let down. So you keep saying, you mentioned a couple of times, he has been constantly let down by the club. And I stand by it. I think he could have gone a different way about it to prevent
that is why people are surprised. That is why people are surprised, because even though everyone knew Harry Kane wanted to leave the whole way through, you said it, I said it, Sim said it, everyone has said he will not kick his toys out the pram, he will not cause a big fuss, he will never down tools, and he'll be professional all the way until the end, and he's not doing that right now.
Yeah, that's the biggest surprise. Like I say, and I agree with you, Sim, as well. All this bullshit about Kane not turning up in finals. If that was the case, we'd be selling 11 players after every final we played.
Exactly.
Let's be honest, none of them have turned up. So Kane not turning up, he's only as good as the players around him, and some would say the players haven't turned up as well. So that's completely bull crap.
Yeah,
absolute rubbish.
Agree.
But look, you mentioned the Romero deal. So you like that one that's positive news today, being overshadowed by the Kane news. But
Tilly's holding the shirt, Bob. Tilly's holding the shirt. Tell him.
Still
he's holding the shirt.
Can't get excited just yet.
No, we've been close to it for 2 weeks, Sim. Come on, man. It was off a couple of days ago, then suddenly it's on. Today it's closer. 4 days ago we would agreed everything, and now I'm not falling for it. I've been heartbroken so many times, been let down so many times. My heart's not good as it is. So it's still there holding the shirt, mate. It's I'm not big up Romano and everyone, but right now till he's at Hotspur way, holding the shirt up, waving goodbye to Kane. I'm not going to believe it.
All right.
Bob Spur, big up yourself. The Conference League draw is about to start.
Yay.
You're a legend. Bob
Coming
Spur.
into your mum.
Come on, Bob. I'll speak to you soon, bro. The Conference League draw is about to get underway. They didn't even get to create their own theme tune for this. It's all
same.
Theme
Such
tune,
a joke. They don't give a crap about that. I don't know why they made this competition. They don't care about it. So it's so stupid. But yeah, the Conference League draw. The Conference League draw is about to start. So we'll see who Tottenham get. Obviously, so who the unseeded teams.
I will listen to it and get you the updates.
So the seeded teams, obviously, we're in the seeded teams. So who we can get are CSK Sofia, Osijek, Paco de Ferrer, Lana, Brida Balik, Aberdeen, Kukariki, and Hammarby. So
are we going?
Huh?
Are we going to this game?
Oh, what about Aberdeen? I'm going to drive to Aberdeen.
I wouldn't mind going to a few of them.
So
I wouldn't mind going to Pacos de Ferreira, Portugal.
Croatia, Paco de Ferreira. Yeah.
Larne is in Northern Ireland.
I think we need a holiday, don't we? So need a holiday. So
exactly.
Might as well go for a bit. It's a holiday. The Conference League is definitely a holiday. That's not something I'm going to be too stressed about. So yeah, I think we got to go. Why not? Once in a lifetime experience, hopefully. Conference League.
He's just talking.
All right. Well, while we're waiting, let's read out this DM from the Irish Hotspur while we're waiting for the draw to start. He says, everyone needs to stop disrespecting Kane. He has been nothing but loyal to Spurs and has given his all every time he was pulled on the shirt and stepped out over that white line. He is a model professional around the training ground. He is our best striker since Jimmy Greaves and Tottenham's best striker in my lifetime. Kane is the GOAT, and treat him like people make excuses for Winks, Sanchez and the like, and calling Harry Kane a steak. Give me an effing break. Tell me all to stop getting their thongs in a twist. We all hold the cards. We hold all the cards. I think his general point is correct. I think Kane has not done anything wrong throughout his whole career at Tottenham, and just because he's pushing for a move now, I don't think it denigrates what he's done or how much professional he's been, for me anyway. And people can be angry and upset, but you know what? When you need to push for a move, and that you've made up your mind, and the only way to do that is to try and push for it, then sometimes you got to do what you got to do. It's your career, it's short, and as much as it hurts, sometimes you got to do what you got to do. And look who it is.
We don't know if that's the only way, though.
If it is, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know, but I'm just saying if it is. It might be, though.
It might be.
It might be.
It might be. But look, at the end of the day, Harry Kane has not shown up for training today, and it's very hard to take. It is hard to take. I'm not going to lie.
Of course it is. We're all upset by it, but it is. Look, I think it's just. I think it's reality. I think like I can understand if Kane had only been here a couple years, and then he's doing this kind of stuff, and people are like, oh, he's been disrespecting us, all this kind of stuff. But he's been here so long, literally never put a foot wrong. It's like all of a sudden he steps out of line a bit, and it's like, oh, you're a snake. It's not true. I don't think it's true, all this stuff.
I still feel that he needs to be showing the fans a bit more respect.
He's shown us enough respect. I honestly think that he's shown us enough respect over the past 8 years. He's shown us the utmost respect, more than respect than any players given most other teams ever.
Yeah, that's also
true. I think there's a breaking point. We've hit that breaking point. That's kind of how I feel, and I honestly don't blame him at all.
I don't think this thing in the morning, what he's done today, not turning up to training, is going to help his cause. I really don't think so.
Okay, that's your opinion. That's fair enough. That's an opinion. That's a fair opinion you can hold. Is it starting?
This isn't us.
Who's
it's not
it?
us yet. This is they're doing it in a few different sections. I think we're in the next section after this. We can get someone on in the meantime.
Let's get John on.
John,
come here. Come on, welcome back.
Welcome back to We Are Tottenham TV.
I knew you guys would do this. I thought I'd wear the t-shirt.
Mr. Johnny Cooper, he's back.
Cooper's back in the house, John.
You good?
John,
Good
where's
to
the
see
tan?
you.
Where's the tan, John?
How are you doing, John?
The tan, yeah. Do you know what? There was no tan. Tan for one day and then evaporates straight away.
So you're back from Mexico, John.
Yeah.
Your escapades.
Yeah.
Who's ready for a hot spa this week, people?
Yeah, let's get it.
Spar on, is that?
Oh, there's enough to spar on. John,
how's it been? You've been looking
it's
after
been
the
good.
fence, yeah? Holding the fort?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not fallen down just yet.
No, not yet.
we're just about managing without you. Everyone's
Good, yeah.
happy to see you back. Go on, show John some love in the comments. Come on, he's happy to be back. He's happy to see you guys. John, I want to go while we're waiting for the Europa League draw to happen. I want to get your opinion on that. Come on, the Kane situation today.
I think Kane can do what he wants, personally.
Is that go on? Come on. Is that your opinion?
I think Kane can do what he wants. He's earned it. Yeah.
Is that how you feel?
Yeah,
That's kind of how I feel as well.
I do feel that. Well, maybe we need to hotspot.
Yeah, because I feel like as much as you probably agree. As much as we hate what he's doing now,
yeah,
it's understandable.
I don't hate him for that. I think that in the modern day you've got to.
Do you hate what he's doing?
No, I don't. No, I don't. Because I think in the modern day you've got to do that to force a move. And look what happened to Bale. Bale did it, and then when he came back, everyone's like, you were like going Bale, Bale, and standing on Hotspur Way.
I'm not saying I hate Kane. I'm not saying that at all.
But it's instantly forgotten as well. Once it's done and dusted, everyone will remember him for what a great servant he was. And he's given us way more seasons than he should have, really, if you think about it.
Yeah, but the way I'm looking at it is that everyone was saying about his professionalism. Everyone was saying about, he'll never do something like this. And he's gone and done it. And now people are saying and just brushing it off like it's nothing.
Yeah, but I think if he doesn't do it, then he's stuck, isn't he?
Why is he stuck?
Because I don't think Levy's going to, we just want to keep him, wouldn't he?
Levy's going to want to keep him anyway.
Exactly. But so I think you've got to you've got to do these things.
Either way, him not turning up for training, all it's going to do is it's going to be the same outcome.
It will force the move, though, won't it? It will force the move.
Kane will get his move.
Exactly, and he deserves it. He deserves it, doesn't he?
Even if he didn't do this, he'll still get his move.
Well, you don't know, do you, with Levy?
You do know, because his contract will run out.
Anyway, welcome back.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'll leave you guys to the show. Let's have a pint.
We will.
Yeah,
Lovely to see you again, John.
Good to see you, Big John.
Always a pleasure, mate. Well, that's John's opinions. Very interesting stuff. And
so no hot spa this week then.
There was just a hot spa. Love it. All right. So, who don't we want?
We want anyone. Come on. I'm not going through this Europa League Conference League being like, we can't face that.
No, in terms of where we want to go, there's
we'll
Bulgaria,
go anywhere,
Croatia, Portugal. What was that? Norway is Lana FC Norway.
No, they're Northern Ireland.
Oh, Northern Ireland. NIR's Northern Ireland. Bridab, is that Iceland, is it?
Yeah.
Bridab, Iceland. I wouldn't mind going to Iceland.
I've got any of these countries.
Scotland, Sweden, Serbia.
I'll take on any of them. I think I want to probably avoid CSK Sofia. That's about it.
CSK Sofia, yeah. Or Bulgaria.
So yeah, but it's a very, very tense place. That
Oh, I see.
CSK Sofia, all from the YouTube. They're like one of the most intense atmospheres in Europe.
Okay. So how is this draw? We're getting. Can't we have to do a bloody playoff of this bloody tournament? Honestly, I can't believe it.
I think it might be coming now. Let's wait.
Let me know in the comment section below who do you want in the draw out of that extensive list of teams we can face. I want to know who people want. Are people excited with this conference league? Is anyone bothered about it? Are you not bothered about it?
Mine. All of them.
Let's see. Is it starting?
I think so.
All right. I think the draw is about to get underway. The inaugural Europa League conference draw.
Europa Conference League. You'll never sing that.
We are a team of first, aren't we? We love doing things for the first time.
Exactly. That's the Tottenham way.
Let's see if I can hear it.
I hate these draws. How they just explain
drag
everything,
out,
like
drag
every
out.
single little detail. Just drag it out. Come on, man.
Come on, get on with it.
Cody
What?
Cody Mack says, John Crates, welcome back to We Are Tottenham TV, the We Are Tottenham TV philosopher, he calls it.
The We Are Tottenham TV philosopher. Love that.
All right, let's see. Is this ours?
I love it. Is it also like usually they bring on guest people to draw? They don't even care anymore. They literally, the guy who's presenting is just doing the draw himself. He's like, that's it.
They couldn't get anyone
They
to join.
could the conference. They literally couldn't give two shits about this competition.
I don't really understand this draw, to be honest.
I don't know. I want to see Tottenham's name, and that's
Just
it.
number 2 has come out. I don't know
Right,
what that means.
2. Group 2. That's this.
Oh, so not us yet.
No, they're doing Group 2 first.
Why do they have to pick out a hat? Which group they're drawing? Just draw 1, 2, 3.
It's ridiculous. What's this? Against 7. 2 against 7. Oh, this is so. What's 7? Actually, I've got no idea.
I have no idea how this is working.
Oh, 2 is Ren? Or is it Group 2 or is it 2? Because 2 is Ren here.
Oh no, this is us. Yeah, we're number 4. We're number 4.
No, it's not, because I saw Ren, and Ren are in Group 2, and they're 2.
Oh.
I don't think it might not. Let me see.
No, I don't think that was us. That was Limassol against Breidablik, no?
I swear I just saw Ren, and they had Ren on the screen. Was it Limassol? Oh, you know what? I got no
Okay,
clue.
number 1. So that should be Ujpest or Basel, right?
Let me see. But 1 against. One against 8.
What is this draw? I have no clue what is going on. This Europa Conference
This is
League,
us.
man.
This is us.
This
You're
is
right.
us?
Yeah, so it's one. So one. There's 1 versus 8. It's Ujpest or Basel versus Kukurik or Hammarby.
So how's Union Berlin just come out then?
Where's Union Berlin? Well, you know what? I've got no clue, mate. Oh, maybe that's how they're doing it. Like the 1 and 8 is they're doing it the same for everyone. Yeah, because
5
Union
minutes,
Berlin are 8.
4 minutes, 3 minutes.
So how they're doing it, it's so screwed up. How they're doing it is the draws, they're doing it the same for each group. You understand? So 1 versus 8 will be in 1 versus 8 in group 1 and 1 versus 8 in group 2, 3 and 4.
Right, okay.
So 3. That's why all 3 groups come up, or 4 groups come up.
Yeah.
5. We're 4, right?
Galatasaray are playing St Johnstone.
Aberdeen is still there.
Who are not there? Who can we draw now? Just 6, right? We're playing Paco de Ferreira or Lana.
No, 7. 7. Oh yeah, 7 are out already, aren't they?
It's 4 against 6. So we're going to play Paco de Ferreira or Lana.
Yeah. Okay, Portugal.
Portugal or Northern Ireland.
So we're away first.
I think so.
Yeah, 6
If
just
it's
came
worked out the way I think it has.
Yeah, 6 just came out.
All right, so that is it. So the draw, that's it. Yeah, it's confirmed. So the draw for the Conference League is we play Pacos de Ferreira or Portugal or Lana of Northern Ireland. I mean, if we do somehow get Lana, what a trip that would be to Northern Ireland.
Yeah, that'd be nice. I wouldn't mind that. Nice getting drunk over in the Northern Ireland. That'd be nice. But Paco de Ferreira, does that not have a potential to be like a bit of a banana skin?
You reckon? I don't know.
I swear like they're the kind of team who like sometimes does an upset sometimes in Portugal. Where do they finish?
They must have finished like 4th or 5th or 6th even.
Portuguese league table.
We shouldn't be struggling to a Pacos de Ferreira, let's be honest. I mean, Benfica played Arsenal last year and they were awful.
Yeah, they were terrible. It's true. Yeah. All right, so Paco de Ferreira or... Yeah, they
Lana.
finished 5th. They finished 11 points behind Braga.
Yeah. So look, that is the draw. We're playing Pacos de Ferreira or Lana of Northern Ireland. So that's the draw. Let's move on and let's get some more guests on in a few minutes.
Yep. Yeah, let's start getting guests way in the back end.
All right, who else have we got?
Reaction to that massive draw. Alex Samuels. Oh, yeah.
Hello.
Hey,
Yes, Alex,
you
how
right?
you doing, mate?
Yeah, good. Thanks. Coming to you from Scotland, just on holiday.
lovely.
Where in Scotland are you?
I'm in Turnberry currently, Turnberry Golf Course.
Very nice.
Yeah, going to Glen Eagles today as well. Yeah, so having a nice holiday, but was cycling this morning along the coast and got the news and just completely ruined it. Honestly. Yeah.
Forget that news. Forget that news. The Europa Conference League draw has just been made.
Yes!
Are you
Let's
buzzing?
go!
Are you buzzing for that draw? Are you buzzing for it? Pacos
I
de
am
Ferreira.
so excited. I'm so excited, honestly. When players, they start out in their careers, I hear them talking about them dreaming about playing in the Conference League one day. And I do love it how if you spell out UEFA Conference League, it's actually UCL, and they've added an E in there just to make sure you're not confused that it's not the UCL. So
maybe that's why Romero's dying to join Tottenham, because he thinks we're in the UCL, not the UESCL.
yeah, he's seen the hashtag and yeah.
Who's
Oh,
gonna tell him?
God.
There are rumours
Yeah.
that Kane was actually about to do a U-turn, and then he saw the Conference League draw. He's like, you know what? F this. I ain't coming to
Yeah.
training.
Oh God.
Do you
Yeah.
reckon he even bothered watching it, Kane? Do you reckon Kane watched the draw today?
Do you think any of our players watch the draws? Probably a better question. I don't think. Do you think anyone at the club, apart from like the club secretary, maybe?
Let everyone know exactly what the draw
Yeah,
is.
just like by the way, guys, this is. Yeah.
So Alex, let me ask you then your opinions on the Kane situation today. What camp are you in? Are you the camp where you think he's being very unprofessional? You think he shouldn't be acting this way? Do you think that he's disrespecting the fans? Or are you on the flip side where you possibly think he's done as much as he can for the club and it's kind of understandable, his actions? Oh, has he crashed?
Hello.
Oh, no, you're there. Did you
Hello?
hear me? Yeah, I can see you. You're fine. Oh, no, you're not fine. He's crashed again. Yeah. We'll try to get you back on, Alex, in a sec. You seem to have crashed. Apologies about that. Let's get Jamie on for now. We'll try to get Alex back on in a minute. Hey, Jamie, you okay?
Yeah, good guys. You're right.
Are you still buzzing from the Conference League draw? I can see the excitement on your face.
Yeah,
all over you.
I couldn't sleep last night, just waiting for it.
Looking forward to the Europa League conference draw. Brilliant stuff. So, Jamie, obviously the big news today, Harry Kane refusing to turn up to training. What camp are you in when you're assessing the situation? Are you in the camp where he's being disrespectful to the club and the fans and he shouldn't be acting this way, or are you on the other side where you're feeling, given how much he's given to the club and given what he's done and how professional he's been, is it understandable that he's trying to force through a move right now?
I think if it's true, then I think it's understandable, 100%. I wouldn't be totally against it. I don't think it's disrespectful. I think he loves the club, loves the fans, and he's given everything, for so many years. So for me, what's the difference? Like skipping training, I wouldn't be heartbroken or think it's disrespectful if he misses a training session, if that gets his point across. I agree with the previous callers, say he's got to do it to force it, because I think, funny enough, we don't want him to leave, but I think we're all eager for him to do well, to be successful. So if we've given him his backing, then, he's got to do what he's got to do. Because like fans were saying, about Levy, don't go to the games, don't buy the merchandise. So we're showing our side of how we can retaliate against him. And I think if that means he's got to do that, then I'm all for it, personally. I think he deserves the move and he's got to do it, in my opinion.
Fair enough. Yeah, that's how I kind of feel. So what do you say to the people who believe that he's out of order and being disrespectful to the fans with his actions today?
I just say got short-term memories, really, because... look what he's given to us over the years. I've never seen a harder worker for the team. He's carried us in some games. Yes, I know you can't play well every game, and people say, he hasn't turned up in finals. But Harry Kane, if he has a team that's playing well on their day, then he's a superstar. He can't do everything, so he needs support. And that was the same for England. When England were playing well, he can't do it for England. So I just think, you can't disrespect him in that way. He's the most loveliest guy. And actually, I really felt sorry for him when he done that Gary Neville interview, because when he said, if he wants to sell me, but if not, then I can put my career on hold. I can play till I'm 30, late 30s. I felt sorry for him. I felt he was too nice, and I really believed. I thought Levy's going to play on this. If you're too nice, too polite, that man is ruthless, and it doesn't matter if you have a gentleman's agreement. He will just hold you for all it's worth. So I think I was wishing that he was more aggressive with his passion to move, and I think. If it's true what he's done today, then I say good on him. You have to do it. Like I said, Bale done it. All he got was a fine, but it got his move over the line. Otherwise, he could be stuck another season. And what's the point? He doesn't want to stay. Man City want him. It's a lot of money. I think it's a win for everyone. And why hold it another year? I think it's better I would take 100 million and a player, because if he's waiting for 150 million, we're going to have to spend at least 50 million on a decent player like a defender. So why not get a Man City player who may be forced to come to us rather than trying to grab someone, because we can't grab anyone at the moment who's decent because we're not even in the Champions League.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. But what do you think do you think even though he's trying to force through a move right now, is there still, you think, a good possibility he ends up staying? Given the fact, Man City could be end up spending a lot of money on Jack Grealish if that deal goes through, and he might not even have a club to go to if no one comes in for him for that amount of money.
Yeah, to be honest, I think that's exactly how it's going to play out. I think if they get Jack Grealish, then Man City won't have enough time to release players to build up the funds, and Levy will be stubborn, and I think they'll just run out of time in the end. Even maybe January, I don't know if they could release a couple more then. It could be a higher possibility, but I still think they won't do it personally. I think it'll be very difficult to get both. And I think they'll go for Grealish. I don't think they'll miss out on the opportunity on him this season, because they may risk not even get Kane. So I think they'll go for Grealish, secure that, and I think they can do one more year without a main striker. I think they'll try it. Yeah, and so I do think he'll stay under those circumstances. And it's funny because with us, it's like, so if we value Kane so much and we're refusing over 100 million, then why are we not prepared to buy players for, a few extra million? Like if it's 50 million, we refuse paying that kind of money, but yet we won't accept 100 million. So, if we value those players so much, why don't we go for the big players? Why are we not hungry to buy these players and all the players we missed out in the past? It just doesn't make any sense. So it proves that you need your big players. So if we can get Romero and say a Laporte, I think that would be perfect, And then I think Son may be the main man. Or knowing Levy, he's probably right now, he's probably trying to get a top striker and seeing what develops there. And if we were able to, then he might say, okay, Kane, you can go now. We've sorted. But he won't let him go. There's no one to replace him. But that's my opinion.
Jamie, by the way, how you doing, Jamie? I was off when you came on. If Kane does leave this summer, what striker would you look to bring in? Who would your ideal replacement be?
I think there's a lot of choice out there. I mean, it's basically we have to get someone who's, a bit of a gem, a bit of an unknown. So probably or someone not with the reputation. So I don't really have many in mind, but like the Fiorentina guy, I know a lot of people talking about him. I think he would suit. He looks like the best option for us. I really can't think of anyone who, because you got to remember, on, obviously not on Kane's level, but as close as possible. I think only he may suit us really well.
Yeah.
There's no one that really sticks out to me. I think, or maybe they push Son up front and maybe get Gil in his position.
Gil on the left, Son up front, and then Lucas on the right, or something like that.
Something like that, yeah. Because I've been really impressed by Lucas. I know it's only pre-season, but he looks sharp. And and Son, his first term when Kane was injured, he was banging in the goals. We wasn't even missing Kane at that time. So, I think, and Son has signed a new contract. Maybe he's been told you will be the main man. You never know.
JB, are we kind of reading or talking too much about this Kane thing? Because yes, obviously it's a big kick in the teeth if he was to go, but we all know the reasons for that. But pre Mourinho, when we had Pochettino, whenever Kane was out injured, we looked a lot more fluid up front, and we scoring more goals. So is there an argument to say that maybe we can go back to that?
Yeah, I believe so. With, say, if Son takes that role or whoever, and Son's on the left, I think we're a team, especially if we are going to play free-flowing football as, the Spurs DNA way, then why not? We can still rack up goals. Obviously Kane will probably win the league for City, but I think we can do very well. You know, when he, like you say, when he has been injured, we have done really well. And even in the semi-final Champions League, he wasn't there, and Llorente and Mora did really well for us.
Yeah.
So you know, and that was a hard game, but they still done it. So I think there is life after Kane, and you know, and like Scarlett, this guy looks phenomenal in my opinion. You know, I would be like, you know, you could be the main man. You know, it happened to Kane. He was a bit older, but we had no choice.
He is 17, you know? Dane Scarlett.
Yeah, he needs to.
Well, I say these days, if you're good enough, you're old enough. You know, same
True.
for England. You know, you give these guys a couple of seasons, it's like they've been playing 10 years in the Premier League. So, because no one is expecting much from us, it's a slow process. I was a bit worried, like nothing would change. I was glad, like Paratici's obviously come in, you know, not for no reason. He must be promised some funds and stuff, and he can work wonders. So it will still take time, though. Players, even though they've been said they can leave, doesn't mean they're gonna leave. But it's just a slow process, but we'll get there. And I think there's no pressure on him. You know, you could slowly bring him in, and in a couple of years, if he's banging in the goals, then Kane, you know, won't be a distant memory. But there's always life after a player. You know, like we had it with Bale, Modric. So I really think we could still have good times. And with the contract thing with Kane, like people say, oh, he signed a 6-year deal. Yeah, but in those days, we were going places, you know, so of course he would sign. And what do people want? Sign a 3-year contract and then he leaves for free. So I think he's also helping the club, making funds for himself, you know. I think he still has Tottenham in his heart. And but I think with all this not turning up to training, I could see them having a discussion, and maybe 2 days later, Spurs come out with, oh, he missed training because of this, you know, or something. And I think they'll cover it up with the reasons. I don't think they're going to allow to show that Kane's not happy.
At the end of the day, they're probably going to say he's got some niggling injury that's going to keep him out the first few games of the season. Exactly. And then he probably won't play till the end of the transfer window, and then we'll see what happens after that. Well, before that, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I can see that happening. He'll be like, oh, he's still a bit tired from the Euros. Yeah, he's carrying this injury. Yeah, and then that will play all into it and cover up all the secrets. But it'd be interesting to see what happens with when he sits down with Nuno. But to be honest, like people say, oh, he should talk to him. But what does it matter? Nothing's changed at the club. You know, whatever manager would have been in charge, not much has changed. And even if it is changing and going in the right direction, it's going to take, 1, 2, 3 years. Yeah. And the only thing Spurs could promise him that's different from City is winning the league. And are we going to do that? No. So City is his chance. And I think he needs to go now if he wants to be that top player. He needs to be in Champions League. And I'd wish him all the best, even though I would hate it for him to go. But I think it's fair. It's fair on him.
All right, Jamie, absolutely brilliant call. Thank you so much for coming on, mate.
See you in a bit, mate.
Thanks, guys.
Good to see you as always, mate.
In a bit. Come on, Spurs.
Tweet here from Simon Stone from the BBC. He says, on Kane plus Grealish. Let me get up. Why not? Simon Stoney. While we're here. He says, on Kane plus Grealish, Pep made it clear who he wants. Any player would be attracted, especially if they are at clubs that realistically cannot compete at the same level. Spurs and Villa are going about their own business and are big enough in their own right to attract quality replacements if required. So he seems to be of the opinion that Pep could very likely go for Grealish and Harry Kane if the opportunity arose. And also, I'm trying to find the tweet from.
Has any club ever spent 100 million twice in a summer?
Only
in a
PSG.
Transfer window? Oh, they did it.
With Mbappe and Neymar. And there was a tweet saying that it was from the MEN, the journalist from the MEN saying that I can't find it, but he says that signing Kane and Grealish is not only possible but could be very likely if Man City are able to offload some of their senior players.
Well, if they want to offload Emerick Laporte, I am Emerick Laporte, or however you say his name, I'll take him. I mean, I would take 100 million plus Laporte right now for Harry Kane. I really would. I really would. And with Romero coming in, if Laporte is willing to come to Tottenham Hotspur, I think that puts us at one of the best centre-back partnerships in the league.
It would, but then you have to get the quality to replace Kane. So.
Lautaro Martinez. I mean, it was reported that he's willing to join Arsenal.
Yeah, if he's willing to join Arsenal, surely he's willing to join Spurs. That's for sure.
Exactly.
They can't even have Conference League. At least we have Conference League. All right.
Let's get Jaden on. Let's get Jaden. Jaden, how's it going, my friend?
Hello, can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Yes, we can hear you. How are you?
I'm good. How are you lot?
Yeah, we're doing all right. I mean, obviously, it's news this morning that has shocked us. Not really shocked us in terms of Harry Kane wants to leave, but shocked us in terms of everyone thought Harry Kane would stay kind of professional all the way through. Maybe that's not the case. Maybe it is the case. But what's your opinion on the whole situation?
I think from the end of the season, we've started to see he's started to go. From when our last game against, who do we play? Leicester, gave Dane Scarlett a balls, the clap and everything. I started to accept from then that he wasn't a Tottenham player anymore and that he was going to go to Man City. But in terms of him missing training, I would have never expected from him.
Yeah.
The last player.
Yeah.
But it's like you don't do things like that once you become a household name, a star name. Like everyone knows Tottenham, Harry Kane. And then from time he starts missing training and that, what about the other squad? Like it rattles everyone so much. So yeah.
Do you think though do you think he has to do what he's doing right now to force through a move, or do you think he's being disrespectful by missing training and stuff?
I don't think he's being disrespectful because everyone knows Daniel Levy. Like even with Gareth Bale, how he forced through his move. Like it seems to get out of Tottenham, you have to play low ball with Daniel Levy because he's not willing to negotiate with anyone. But and on other times, I can see why missing training. Like you shouldn't do that as a professional. You're under a contract, even though everyone says he signed a contract and that. He is under a contract for 3 years, and he has to respect that he signed the contract. No matter if we've gone downhill, he signed the contract and he's a Tottenham player. So for him to be missing training and him to force a move, it's quite shocking to me.
Yeah, I mean, it is shocking. It is shocking. But in terms of a deal with Man City, what kind of deal would you take? Would you be looking at straight up cash 150 million, or would it be 100 million plus a player or plus two players even?
I don't think 150 million is realistic for them to pay that, and then on top of Grealish. I personally would take Laporte and Cancelo and a bit of money because that sorts out the whole defence. And then we have about 80 million to replace Kane, where you can have Martinez, the Florentina striker. There are options out there, that's the thing. And even in the Champions League final, my greatest moments as a Spurs fan has been not him in a shirt. Man City, Ajax, he wasn't involved, and we still managed to get to the final without him. So it shows we do have an identity, except from Kane. We do have our own identity as a good football team.
It's a good point. And do you think even if Kane is desperate to leave, do you think it's better to try and get the best price for him this summer and then try and improve the squad, or do you think do as much as you can to hold out for as much as possible, and if that means we keep a reluctant player, we keep him?
It doesn't make sense to me keeping someone that doesn't want to play for the football team. Like you have like maybe players that are on the bench that are willing to fight for the badge, and then how are they feeling when Kane started just because of his name, and he doesn't want to be there anymore? Like it doesn't make sense to me. If he wants to go, just let him go. There's no point of like keeping him hostage when we can get good money for him. We bought in Fabio Paratici, and he seems to be making some good signing. So I do trust him with 100+ million to turn Spurs into a better team without Kane.
All right, Jaden. Absolutely brilliant call. Thanks for calling in today, mate.
Thanks.
Well,
Cheers,
thanks for
mate.
coming
Up
on,
the
mate.
Thank you.
Nice to see you. See you in a bit, mate.
And I'm kind of thinking now, the more and more I think about it, the more I think that maybe we should just do a deal this summer. And I can't see a point of keeping him against his will for next season. I really can't, because even if he is that model professional, you know, just take this training thing aside for a second. Even if he is the model professional, you can still unintentionally down tools. You know, it could be just something on the playing. Oh, I don't want to be here. You know, you don't give your all.
Mm-hmm. It just hurts too much to think of Tottenham without Kane. That's the problem, isn't it? It's hard to even envisage it. Just like starting next season with Harry Kane not in our team, it's just hard to think about.
But when you look at it, the be all and end all under Jose Mourinho was Harry Kane, right? That was the be all and end all when we had Jose Mourinho last season, is what I'm saying. When we had Pochettino, I always thought, maybe not always, but whenever Kane went out injured, we started to play a bit more fluid football, a bit more attacking football. We used to score a lot of goals. I think it is true.
I don't think that's true. I
think Sonny used to play up top and start banging in the goals.
I'm not saying we were bad when Kane was missing. I'm just saying I don't think it's true that we had to wait for Kane to get injured to start playing free-flowing football.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that when Kane was injured, we did play free-flowing football.
Yeah,
we did play good football, and we did score a lot of goals.
I agree with that. We coped.
I'm not saying that
Kane.
we didn't play good football with Kane in the side. That's not what I'm saying.
Yeah, that's why I thought you were saying.
No, I'm obviously not that deluded. Like, come on.
I think I agree with that. We did, or we cope. What I would say is that we coped without Kane, which we did.
Even in some situations, we thrived without Kane.
I never thought without Kane we were better than we were with Kane. I always thought with Kane we were better off. Even though we had some good games, I always felt like if it was over an extended period, we were still better off having with Kane in the side than without.
Obviously, you're always going to be better off with Kane because he's like the best striker in the world, right?
That's what I'm
saying. But what I'm trying to say is it shows that there can be life after Kane. It shows that having Harry Kane is not the be all and end all to the future of this football club.
And especially if Kane leaves, it's not like we're not going to replace him. We're going to replace him with strikers hopefully capable of not being on Kane's level, but hopefully capable of coming into a team and being effective up front and doing a different kind of role, but still maybe functioning differently. And as much as it's going to hurt Kane leaving and him not being part of Tottenham anymore, if it does happen this summer, as much as it's going to hurt, the club are always bigger than the player, always in every situation. And look, it took us a while to get over Bale, but we got over him. You know, it took us a while. It's always
over him. He only just left.
Huh? Exactly. It always takes a bit of time when these players leave, but eventually you can, if you do your recruitment correctly and you spend the money wisely, it depends. Look, it depends what you make of it. It's not necessarily that if we get 150 million for Kane, we're instantly a worse side. It depends what you make of it. It's all about your recruitment. It's all about what you do with the money that you spend. If you spend it right, if you spend it in the right areas and get the right players in, it could be a good thing. But do we trust Tottenham to do that, seeing as we've been burnt in the past? That's always the lingering paranoia.
I don't trust Tottenham and Daniel Levy to do it, but I do trust Paratici to do it.
So maybe at the end of the day, you never know. It could be a positive thing. As much as it hurts, it's going to hurt and it'll be painful. But sometimes these things are painful, but they're necessary.
I feel like we could potentially take a big step forward with that Harry Kane money with Paratici in there. I really think that. And I really think that bringing in a player like Lautaro Martinez is not like... It's not so beyond the realms of possibility. I think it's a big possibility that we could actually do it. I know there's no links or anything right now, and it's just a rumour that I've just basically started on my own.
No, you haven't. There was a rumour. There was a link.
Oh, there was a link.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's something that could happen. And I think that it's not this whole depression like everyone's going on about losing Harry Kane. I really think something
it would be at the beginning, but I think once we
obviously,
get the signings
but I think
in,
when you look at the bigger picture When you look at the bigger picture, you can take the positives out of it, and you can really see Tottenham thrive. Maybe not thriving, but definitely moving forward.
I said it all depends if we make it into a positive.
Yeah.
It's about Spurs.
Of course.
I'm saying, but the thing is, it's not guaranteed, so it's a risk, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's all about how Tottenham.
But it's
do
also
it.
a risk keeping Harry Kane for next year.
Yeah. Of course it is. I would say it's less of a risk keeping him than selling him, because I would say you know what you're going to get with Harry Kane, and even if he's not happy,
But you don't know because
I think you do.
You didn't think he was going to not turn up to training.
Yeah, I know. I had an inkling he might, to be honest, but you obviously it's a surprise and it's a shock. But I still think if he was to stay, I don't think Kane is the kind of player who's going to drop his standards. I don't think he will.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, yes, he might not be the player to drop his standards, but that might happen unintentionally.
Nah, even with Kane, I don't think it will. I think he's too headstrong. To do that. I really do. But it's true. It could be a good thing if we sell him and spend the money wisely. It could be. No reason why not. It could be. That could be the actual thing that could get us back in the conversation in the top 4. It could be. But
exactly,
it's about how Spurs deal with it, and that's the situation.
And is there a better man at the wheel than Don Paratici to put us through this?
I hope so. But I hope there's no better man. But we have to wait and see. The only
person that can hold him back is Daniel Levy.
Mm-hmm.
It's the only person.
And
we've definitely been stung by that many a time before. Let's just get a few super chats and we'll bring on the last couple of guests. Awesome All says Tottenham Hotspur has no ambition. An average player come there to make Benjamin with no consequences. Levy made fans to be a player's supporter instead of club. Okay.
Right. Levy made fans be players so that. Right, because we're more interested in the individual because of what he's done to the club. It's harder to support the club when I understand what he's trying to say. TK says, I don't want another Eriksen situation where he downs tools in his last season. Let's get Laporte more realistic. Aki plus 100 million and move on. The thing is with Eriksen is, we priced ourselves out of that move because no one wanted to pay 50 million when he had 1 year left on his contract. So I think at the moment it's a bit different because... Yes, because I think that summer, when we didn't get rid of Eriksen, we kind of had to take what we could get, and we didn't. But this summer, it's not the same thing because we could still get quite a high fee for Kane next year. Yeah, if we do say no. Yeah. So we have a bit more leverage than we did with the Eriksen situation.
I still think next summer, we can still get 100 million. I really believe that.
I don't think it'll be 100, but I think it'll be. I reckon it'll be something like 80 million, something around that. That's what I reckon.
Plus a player.
Oh, hopefully. Yeah, that'd be nice.
Scorpion Fan for Life says, hope he doesn't go out badly like Eriksen did.
Yeah, I just think it's a tiny... first of all, Eriksen, as much as I believe he, like Tottenham, he didn't come through the youth system. He's not like a Tottenham boy through and through. So it's tiny bit different. I think, and again, I think we have more leverage in this situation we did in the Eriksen situation.
Much more.
Opinion,
yeah.
But yeah, there is something to be said about how that kind of went sour. And the last 6 months, it was turned a bit toxic, didn't it? Yeah. The fans booing him and stuff. Yeah. I don't think it would ever turn like that. Look, I don't know. I just don't think it would ever turn out like that right now.
And everyone making the Bale comparisons as well. It's like, at least Bale went to abroad, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but at least he had a choice to go abroad.
Yeah. What?
Headlines are coming up. Oh, there
you go. Right. The headlines are revolving. Let's get on the guests.
Let's get another guest on.
Who's
Michael?
on? I think it's Michael on next.
Yeah, let's get Michael on.
Michael, how are you, my friend?
Doing, gents. I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of news coming out today. Obviously, Harry Kane has not turned up for training today. What do you read into the situation?
Yeah, look, I think it's disappointing. And none of us want Harry Kane to leave, and I'll caveat that with I managed to get my 9-year-old son to fall in love with Tottenham because of Harry Kane. But I think the reality is he's going to go. The guy's going to go, unfortunately. And this is all part of that process. And Pochettino said it. After the Champions League final, there was a painful rebuild required.
Yeah.
And this is all part of that process, unfortunately. And Harry leaving the club, which I do feel is inevitable, is part of that. And I think, you said it earlier, if a player wants to leave, regardless of whether it's Harry Kane or whether it's Serge Aurier, I think we need to do the deal, get the money, and move the club forward.
Yeah. In terms of him not turning up for training today, do you feel let down by Harry Kane, or do you feel it's just something he has to do to force his way out of the club?
Yeah, I mean, I said it in the chat earlier. I said that I do not begrudge Harry Kane his move at all. For what he's been sensational for this club.
Mm-hmm.
So, but there is a way you go about it. Particularly when you're Harry Kane, you've been at the club for 11 years. You're essentially captain of the club. There is a way you go about it, and he has a special relationship with the fans because of that history. So, for me, I think he has to be professional. He has to come to training. So it's extremely disappointing on that front. What I don't want here is another drawn out, long deadline day saga. Another Berbatov, another Bale. Another Modric that goes all the way to the wire, disrupts the club, disrupts the team, disrupts the fans, disrupts the player. I think we just need to speak to Harry today, tomorrow, make the call. If he doesn't want to be here, obviously that's not what any of us want, but let's do the deal. Let's get the money in, and let's go out. Let's get a goal. Let's get another goal scorer, because they do exist.
Yeah, no, they do. 100% right, and it's that this news about Harry Kane today has kind of overshadowed the news that we're in very advanced stages for signing Christian Romero. It looks like he could be through the door. I mean, how much of an exciting signing is that for you?
Oh, I think the thing that keeps me up at night is thinking about Dyer and Sanchez starting centre up. We cannot go into and we cannot have another go with Dyer and Sanchez. We did it with Mourinho. We said, oh God, it hasn't worked for the last 2 years under Poch, but let's have another go with Dyer and Sanchez. We cannot do that. We have to replace those players. Romero, for me, I don't know a lot about the guy. I haven't seen him play, but from what I read, from what I hear from people like yourselves, this guy could potentially be a big player. He could hopefully have a Van Dijk effect on us, and that's what we need. We need a transformational defender to come in and do for us what Van Dijk did for Liverpool. Because before Liverpool had Van Dijk, they were, look at us at Wembley, 4-1 with Lovren in his, falling over. So we need that player that can come in and make that effect on our defence, and hopefully Romero is that player. I am really excited about that potential transfer.
Yeah, and looking till not long now till the season starts, under 2 weeks now until our first game against Man City, and how much work Spurs still have left to get done in the transfer window. Kane's future still up in the air. Romero, we still haven't got him over the line despite advanced talks. Are you hopeful at all going into the new season where we can still close the gap on the top four? Do you feel like we've just left ourselves just too much to do before the season starts now?
Yeah, I mean, there is a huge amount to do. There is, getting in a prospect goalkeeper and a prospect left winger, that's good, but they're not the priority. So there's a huge amount of work to do with so little time. But I'm optimistic. I'm a Spurs fan, so I think that's our curse. We're perpetual optimists. Flattered to deceive. It's the hope that keeps you, the hopes that kills you.
Michael, it's called being deluded.
All deluded, yeah. But I am optimistic, with Don Paratici here. I'm liking the sound of the players we're being linked with. If Kane was to go, I'm not hugely confident about signing the Fiorentina guy. I say the Fiorentina guy because I can't pronounce his name. But I know he scored 21 goals last year, but before we signed Lamela, he scored 15 goals and 12 assists in Serie A.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, for me, it's, alongside Son and some of the more creative players we've got, and Ndombele, Lo Celso, really feel that, Danny Ings could score 20 plus Premier League goals in a Tottenham team. So he would be my priority. I know he's not one for the future, but he would be my priority to replace Kane. Even if we end up keeping Kane, I would still want to try and bring Danny Ings in on his last year of his contract. I really do feel there's a good opportunity there for us. So I am optimistic. Whether that's deluded or not, I'm not sure. But if we can, for me, it has to be Romero, Tomiyasu, another defender. I really like Max Aarons at right back, if we could get him. and then still think we need another midfielder and striker.
Do you think it would have
all
been
of that in 2 weeks? Then brilliant.
Well, we do have a month left of the window. I mean, it's all about getting your priorities in first, and then maybe we can work on a few other targets for the remainder of the window. But do you think all that business is even possible to get done without selling Harry Kane?
Oh, I doubtful. Looking at our track record under Enoch and Levy, very, very doubtful that we will go out and invest. Look, we didn't buy a player for 500 odd days. So, and we just, as I said previously, we just try to keep going again with Sissoko, going again with Harry Winks, so we do need to invest in this team, and that means we need to start moving quicker. And I know you guys have said this over many, many videos. We need to start moving quicker at moving on the players that aren't adding enough value to the team. Winks, Sissoko, Aurier, we've done it with Lamela now, Sanchez, we need to move them on. And whether we invest the money up front and then reimburse ourselves after we make these sales, but we need to prioritise strengthening the first team. Otherwise, it could be a very long autumn for us.
Yeah, it very well could be. Michael, thanks a lot for coming on today. Very good call. Thank you.
Good to see you, Michael. Thanks a lot, mate.
See you soon. Up the Spurs. And last caller of the day. Everyone, before we do get the last caller of the day, we've got 1,743 people still watching. Only 916 likes. Everyone smash that like button, smash that subscribe button. It's been a monstrous stream today. It's nearly 3 hours.
Epic.
We've got one more super chat to get through as well. Just before we get on the guest, it's from AS. He says, guys, what are your thoughts on Carragher's tweets on this? One reply to Rio and the others to a Spurs fan.
Yeah,
I agree with him personally.
Let me just see this. He says,
I haven't seen it.
So Rio Ferdinand said, I'm not saying that Kane's and his tactics to leave are wrong if we are to believe what's being said. However, Harry wants trophies and he ain't getting any younger. Jamie Carragher says, I disagree. It is wrong not to turn up to training. We all know he wants to go and can totally understand why, but Harry should not ruin his name or relationship with the supporters who idolise him just to get the move. Spurs will always be his club. Yeah. And then he goes on to say, someone's commented to him, Daniel Levy is renowned for bullying and being conniving with regards to transfers and players wanting to leave. Harry clearly knows this and is upset that he's gone back on his word. It's the case of Levy trying to play Billy Big Bollocks with a player's career. And Carragher quote tweeted and said, so why sign a 6-year contract? Gentleman's agreement, laughing emojis.
Yeah, I agree with Jamie. I agree with him.
Yeah, I think he makes some good points. Fair enough. I just don't begrudge Kane for what he's doing. I know, yes, people can argue he's ruining his relationship with blah blah blah, but I don't think he is. I think it's understandable.
I think he's ruining his immediate relationship with the fans. But I think when it's all said and done and he comes back to Tottenham, he'll still be revered as a legend.
I just think even Berbatov, we welcomed him back.
Exactly.
When I
only welcomed Berbatov back once Ledley King had him back for his testimonial. Before that, he was a dead man to me.
So I don't know. I don't begrudge Kane. I think people are more understanding than what Carragher's saying, in my opinion. I think a lot more of the Spurs fan base understand his actions than are angry and think and are completely irreparable damage with the fans. I don't think so. Anyway, let's get the last caller on.
Ben Kaufman. How you doing, Ben? You all right?
Well, it's a decent enough day to have a somber day, isn't it?
Talk to me.
Hopefully we can...
No, I was just going to say...
Good day to get... Oh, yeah, go.
No, I was just going to say, do you think with Kane's actions this morning, what's your opinion on where it stands with the fans? I mean, do you feel let down by Harry Kane, or do you feel it's just something he has to do?
It's something he has to do as a probably one of the best strikers to ever exist in the Premier League. So he wants to win a Premier League. He wants to challenge for a Champions League. So it's fair enough that he wants to leave. There are ways you can go about this. But there's one thing the club cannot be allowed to do is we cannot let Man City bully us. Harry Kane is worth £150 million to the Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. If they don't pay that, they won't get him. Simple as that. So
but
I don't like.
Yeah, go on, Ben. Go on.
We cannot sell ourselves short, because at the end of the day, whilst we're going through this moment, all the clubs with strikers that we're interested in, Inter Milan, Fiorentina, will all say we can get a few million out of them now that they're selling Harry Kane for lots of money.
Exactly.
So what we're going to have to do, we need to bleed as much money out of Manchester City Football Club as we can physically bleed, because otherwise we're going to try and sign a player and they're going to like, oh, we were asking Arsenal 40 million for Lautaro Martinez, or how much they want. For you guys, it's 70 million, because we know you've got tons of money. Same with Southampton. They're going to ask for as much money as they can. So we need to do the same thing with them. So
absolutely. Yeah, I completely agree with that. But in terms of when you say, there's ways to go about it, and I'm assuming you're implying he's not going about it the right way. But from Kane's point of view, if this is the only way he can, if he can't get the move without pushing for it like he is now, in that sense, are you surprised that he's going about it this way? Is this not the right way to go about it? If this is the only way he can get the move?
It is not the right way to go about it, because he has a 3-year contract at the end of the day. He shouldn't have signed a 6-year contract. I know it was a lot different situation. We were going places. Our players, we were excited. We were signing great players. We had a top young manager in Mauricio Pochettino who was going places. But this is how, if you're doing this to Levy, what's Levy going to do? He's going to play just as hardball with Harry Kane as Harry Kane is playing with Daniel Levy. Mm-hmm. So what you guys were saying was perfectly accurate. If you really want, he should have come into today, had a proper meeting with Mr. Paratici, Mr. Levy, and Mr. Santos, Nuno, and he should have said, okay, let's have a chat about this. Doing this is just going to make them angrier. So I think after the Berbatov situation, after the Gareth Bale situation, the difference is then we got the money we wanted. We wanted a 90 million for Gareth Bale. Real Madrid gave us 90 million for Gareth Bale. Off he went. We're asking for 150 million for Harry Kane. So give it the 150 million or 130 plus a Laporte or a Silva, and then let's be on our way. We're not saying he's not for sale. We just want the right money for him. And they're not offering the right money. You don't go into a shop and offer £1 for a £3 coffee. At the end of the day, you give them what they're asking for. It's the same thing with Romero. They asked for 50 million, so it's 50 million. It's a business transaction. You can't not buy the best striker in the world for 150 million.
Yeah,
that's
especially with 3 years left in this deal. I mean, it's hard to take with Harry Kane coming in, not going to training and what have you. But in your opinion, is he still going to be a Spurs player come the end of the transfer window?
Not fully sure. All I know is if he does eventually go, we all love what he's done for us in the 11 years he's been there. He's given us all hope. He's given us some unbelievable memories, like Dortmund away, that goal in the top corner. You heard the net rattle. Fantastic day out for many people. He's given us some unbelievable memories, and we won't begrudge him for leaving. But the only thing we can ask for, as Spurs fans, is we get the right money in for him, and then we reinvest that into the team, and we go again. We rebuild the team, painful rebuild. This has always been coming. Harry Kane is going to leave Tottenham eventually, whether it's this year, whether it's next year, whether it's in 5 years. We have to be prepared to rebuild the team again and go again, because we're in a sorry state of affairs at the moment.
Yeah.
So we need to rebuild now. And if Harry Kane going means we can rebuild the team properly and challenge again, so be it. All we've got to do is get the right money.
I completely agree, Ben.
Yeah, and Ben as well, also been overshadowed today by the Kane talks is obviously the Romero deal. Looks like edging closer, according to Alistair Gold and Dan Kilpatrick. So that's a positive to come out of today. Is that a deal that you're starting to get excited about, or do you think because of the kind of because of the uncertainty surrounding Kane, it's kind of like it's hard to get excited about prospective incomings just yet when so much is to be decided with the outgoings?
I'm very excited about Romero because the majority of my friends in football are all mostly at Juventus. So they're bigging him up as that. They've always bigged him up. My friends that are working at Juventus and so in that area. And we've seen that he's voted the best defender in the Serie A, which is no mean feat. That is unbelievable, really, to him to be coming to Tottenham. He should be spitting at us and saying, why am I coming to you? I'm the best defender in Serie A, and you've got Eric Dyer at the back. The fact he's coming, we should be deeply excited about it. What we need to do, as I said before, is if Romero does come and Kane does go, let's put some better teammates around him and we can actually challenge for the top four and then possibly make a challenge for maybe the league in 3 or 4 years. But we need to rebuild the team around Romero because he's 23, he's really young, and he already looks like a prospect. Yeah. Let's build a team around him at the back, a new heart of the defence, Mr. Højbjerg in front of him, with Ollie Skip. Hopefully he stays at the club instead of going on loan because it's just a waste because he's already a bloody good player. Keep him in the team. Let's rebuild the team around these young, hungry players that want to be there, and then let's go. Let's win some football matches.
I agree, man. Ben, absolute pleasure having you on. Thank you for coming on, and we look forward to hearing you come on very soon.
Nice if you're ever in Woodford, come for a coffee.
I will do, mate. I will do. Thank you very much.
Cheers, lads.
Cheers, Ben.
Bye-bye.
Cheers, Ben. You want to just go through the tweets for the final bit of the show?
Yeah, there is. One sec. Let's see. Last few tweets. You see it? Yeah, there you go. Matthew says 125 million plus Laporte for Kane could allow us to get Vlahovic for 50 and Lautaro Martinez for 75. But do you lads reckon Lautaro Martinez would want to come to Spurs?
I can actually see him wanting to come to Spurs. I think he would want to come to the Premier League, and unless some Champions League club comes in to Gazumpas, I think he could want to join us for sure.
Yeah, I mean, if the rumours are true that he would be open to joining Arsenal, then I assume he would also wanting to join Spurs as well. Having said that, he did win the league last season. He's been linked to big clubs like Barcelona and people like that in the past,
who don't have money now,
who don't have money anymore. But maybe you might think it's worth waiting for them. I think if we offered the right money, and if Kane did leave, I reckon we could probably get him in. Just about, but I don't think it's going to be that easy.
No, it'll definitely be a long drawn out saga.
Alex Samuels with the tweets. He says, sorry guys, internet crash and had to go to golf. My take though is that I changed my mind regarding Kane's departure recently. I feel that it's too risky him having a poor season and reducing his value when he's 29. Martinez is available and would be an alright replacement and would also give us some money to play with for a centre-back and midfielder. Laporte is an ideal player to include in a deal. With today's developments, I would take 100 million plus Laporte. Not a fantastic deal, but considering the circumstances, would be adequate. Yeah, if we were able to get Laporte, Martinez in a plus maybe a right back and a midfielder, I mean, it's not the worst window in the world, I guess. That's all you could say.
I think that would be brilliant. I mean, Martinez, Romero, Laporte, Tomiyasu, and Sabitzer. What 5 signings they would be?
Would be good, and hopefully I would be able. That would make up for what we lose for Kane. But maybe look, we'll have to wait and see how it all plays out. If we can get something positive out of this saga. Jeff B says, "Morning guys, just signed in while we wait for the draw. Harry Kane. Let's just say a huge thank you to him. Let him go to City. We've had his best years, and he has had loads of memories." Yep, true, and I think a lot of fans feel like that when it comes to Kane. I think no one's begrudging him a move. People want him to go about it the right way, which I understand, and probably rightly so. But I think we can all accept that Harry Kane probably deserves his move at this point. And if he does get it, then good luck to him.
What I don't get is why people are so set on Vlahovic.
Because I don't know, we're in talks of him, and he's one maybe we could sign 50 million.
50
and
million
he's 21 years old.
Seems so expensive for someone like him.
Yeah, I guess 21 years of age, maybe he's one who could play as a big future ahead of him, and he could
he's
be
only had
striker.
like one season at the top, really.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, I think Vlahovic
is a major risk. Vlahovic.
You need Vlahovic plus you need Vlahovic plus another one, another more experienced.
And if he's going to cost 50 million, we're not going to get him and another.
Yeah, I know. Well, depends if we sell Kane and what it is. Time is of the essence. Says terrible how Kane is being used as a sacrificial lamb. Club legend like him deserves more respect from Levy, but fans are more interested in the 150.
I mean, I don't understand. I don't understand that, because it's Harry Kane that wants to leave because we can't match his ambition. We're not saying no fans are blinded by the 150 million. They're blinded by Harry Kane wanting to leave. And if Harry Kane wants to leave, we need to get the best deal for the club.
Yeah, exactly.
No one wants Harry Kane to leave. Let's be honest. Nobody, not one Spurs fan in this probably world that wants Harry Kane to leave. The fact of the matter is he wants to leave, and it's better to get the money than to have a player that doesn't want to be here. That's the facts.
I think that's all. I think that's true. At the end of the day, Field 2109 says to those who say Kane didn't show up in the Champions League final, Kane was out for a long period of time. He had lost his match fitness and should never have started the game. That was the first start of Kane being bigger than the club. I don't think Kane's bigger than the club. I just think Kane.
I disagree with that.
Because I think Kane at that time, he had a bit long break before the Champions League final, so I think he had time to get fit. I don't think he was at his sharpest. We can all agree on that. But I just think when Kane's available, especially for such a big game, I think it was a gamble, but they decided to play him. That was it.
Do you really think, if Cristiano Ronaldo was out for the 3 months leading up to a Champions League final, and then he's back for it, and hasn't played a game before it though, do you really think they're not going to play him?
Of course they're going to play him.
Exactly.
They're going to play him.
You play your best players.
Especially
Simple as
in
that.
Champions League final.
Simple as that. Super chat here from Garrett Ford saying, if we do get Romero in, I think Martinez would join to link up with the fellow Argentinians, Gio and Romero. I mean, I would love that. I'd absolutely love that.
Oh, yeah. Maybe they can convince him. That's not a bad shout. Rob on Twitter says, Kane wants to sit down with the manager and with Levy to discuss his future. That's what he said. Why does he have to turn up for training to do that? I guess he doesn't, in theory, but it's more professional and it's more... it's just the right thing to do, to turn up to training. That's the truth. But maybe he's sick of being Mr. Nice Guy kind of thing, because that's what he has been pretty much throughout his whole Tottenham career.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a case of no more Mr.
That's why
Nice
he's known
Guy.
as the model professional.
Corky Blues, lads. Oh no. Well, I won't read that one out. What other tweets are there? L. Hughes says Romero, Vlahovic, Romero again. Tomiyasu is a great window, puts us back in the top 4
We're
conversation.
going to sign Romero twice, or
Sure,
is that
we're
the
gonna sign a
goalkeeper
clone.
from Man United as well?
I hope not. I don't want him. Wouldn't mind a clone of Romero. 2 Romeros at centre back. That would be all right, wouldn't it? That might put us in the conversation. XOGX says, would you sell Kane if it meant we would get Romero, Laporte, Ings, and Thuram?
Maybe I would not Ings. I wouldn't like Ings to come in and directly replace Kane.
Yeah, I would want someone better than him, I think.
Yeah. But
I think Romero, Laporte, and Thuram, that would be decent. I'd be happy with those 3.
Lautaro Martinez has got to be the man, surely. He got to be
the one, because he's the right age, 23 years of age. He's got pedigree. He's just won the league.
Just won Copa America. Just won the Scudetto as well. So
Jacob Pearden says, let Kane go. He clearly doesn't want to be here. Get the money and maybe a player and invest in our team instead of buying golf clubs.
Yeah. And Jimmy Jones with the super chat saying, what do you think Man City of thinking of this?
I think they're very happy right now that Kane is trying his best to make sure he gets this move. Doesn't mean that they're definitely going to stump up the cash. There are even reports saying there is no chance Man City pay the 150 million asking price. So if that is the case, it's going to be that. If that is the case, then I guess the only way Kane does get the move is doing what he's doing, because if they're not going to pay the asking price, then there's no way that Levy accepts it. There's probably no way anyway that Levy accepts it, but he's definitely not going to accept it if Kane doesn't kick up a fuss. So the only way is if he does.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. And that's why I keep saying. I keep saying that it doesn't matter if Kane wants to leave, Kane wants to stay, Kane kicks up a fuss, Kane doesn't kick up a fuss. If they do not meet Daniel Levy's price, he's not going.
Correct. That's what I feel as well. I agree with that. So, yeah. That's really about it, I think. And all the tweets are done.
3 hours on the dot. So big up all yourselves that did come and join us today. It's been a mammoth stream. Still got 1,600 people watching with just over 1,000 likes. Everyone do scroll down, smash that like button, smash that subscribe button. We'll be putting out the clips just in a little bit. And then I'm sure you'll get a Tottenham update as well today. And a few other bits and pieces coming out over the next couple of days. And we'll see you again tomorrow morning. Just a quick super chat just before we go from Tim Falco saying, which Man City player would realistically come to us? I mean, I think that's a conversation for another day because because we have run out of time. But like I said, everyone, thank you for tuning in today. We'll see you next time. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always, come on you Spurs.